Hello, hello, and welcome one and all to the Illuminated page. We are back. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for season 2 of our journey through Horror of the Orient Express. My name is Rue, and I will be your conductor for the evening. Someone will be along shortly to stamp your ticket and make sure you are most comfortable. Y'all, I'm happy to be here, and I hope you are too. While you get situated, I would love to introduce to you my fabulous friends, our guests of the hour. And I'm going to go alphabetically because that's just the way my brain works. So, Ala, please introduce yourself and your character, if you please.
Well, hello everyone. I am Ala, and I am playing Emily Brandt, who is a veteran of the Great War and now serves as a governess for the Rinaldi Stad family, currently supervising the young and willful Johanna, making sure she doesn't touch anything or, worse yet, embarrass her father.
Nice, nice. Alyssa, you are next in the alphabet.
Hey everybody, I am Alyssa Appleton, and I play Cleo Dandridge, who is the group's resident occultist and makes sure no one touches anything. Or tries to.
Thank you. Or to, well, you can't stop them from trying to, but you can definitely
No,
like
I mean,
interpose yourself.
I mean, tries to make sure no one
Oh,
touches
you try.
anything.
Okay, yes, that makes more sense. Yeah, I just imagine Cleo constantly, like in an action movie, taking the bullet as she like jumps, just soars sideways through the frame, as Johanna reaches out to grab something. But next on that list, I've got Matthew.
I'm playing Johanna, Elizabeth Frederica von Ronaldi Stad, the daughter of the heir of the Rinaldi Stads, who has definitely employed Emily to keep me from touching things as well. But I'm the fun one, I swear.
The fun one.
The fun one.
I mean, I think everyone has fun in their own ways.
Well, some of us break into things and steal things, so
Well, that's true too. But
Ooh.
There's no
also
fun allowed.
no fun, no fun anywhere. And last but certainly not least, Sean, please introduce yourself and Mr. Haskins.
Hi, I'm Sean. I play Kelsey Haskins. I am the group's locksmith. I help them get into things. And
Were there quotey
maybe
fingers?
not this time. There might be other things that I do too that they may or may not know about.
Well, I mean, to each their own, I suppose.
It depends on what the boss tells me what to do.
Well, there is that. Yeah, you do have an employer who likes to send you on random jobs, as one does. Even though you have a secondary employer now, which is Miss Rinaldi Stad, as you were
Yes.
hired.
Yeah,
So
that is true. And it's hard sometimes to balance both.
I did notice in chat. Please, yes, get your bingo cards out. Thank you, Matt, for reminding us all. We had bingo cards. I can reshare that link at some point. Not right now because I'm busy, but I will reshare that link or somebody else can. And yeah, please, by all means, fill out your bingo cards. We do our best to, you know, let you fill in those spaces with your little paint daubers, and again, you don't win anything except for my congratulations that you made a straight line and dots. So uh, you're doing real well, kids. You're doing real well. It is my duty to remind you at this point that Illuminated Page is a Pulp Cthulhu 7th edition actual play, and as such, some content and thematic elements may not be suitable for all viewers, and discretion is advised. So we haven't been too bad on here, all things considered, but you never know what's going to happen. So please, if anything starts to get a little icky, just you take care of yourself and just click off that button. I won't feel bad if you walk away. It's all good. Um, Without further ado, sit back, my friends, and enjoy the ride. Um, so while I give you a brief recap of what's going on, go ahead, my wonderful players, and give me those luck advances. Remember, though, these luck advances are the ones that you do have to roll above your luck score. So roll your percentile, roll above, and you may then get a D10. Um, We do have luck advances that the chat can purchase for you with Cthulhu's. Try to limit those a little bit. They don't really need it. They're doing pretty damn good, y'all. So don't waste your points on it unless you notice that they're spending a ton. Let's at least, you know, I want to encourage you to be fiscally smart with your Cthulhu's. They don't grow on trees. They really don't. They just accumulate about 200 every hour.
I was gonna say they don't grow on trees, but they do grow while you watch us.
They do, and if you're a subscriber, you get even more.
Yep.
Which, yay, a non-legal tender currency just falling in your lap that you had to spend $5 to get more of. I think that's fine, right? So did you all roll your luck advances? How are you? Do you all feel pretty lucky?
I got a little more, like 2 points.
Nice.
I
Okay.
rolled under my luck, so I get 0.
Oh well, yeah, that sucks.
Sounds about right.
So when we last saw our intrepid travelers, it was January 19th, 1923. They had finally boarded the Simplon Orient Express with the left arm of the Sedefcash simulacrum stored in an inscribed leaded case among their belongings. They spent the small hours dining sumptuously on a gourmet feast accompanied by fine wines within the salon car of the famous soprano Caterina Cavallaro. Before retiring to their neighboring compartment, Signorina performed the aria of Ritorna Vincitor from Aida. So any opera fans out there, they got a private show, essentially. She was in a beautiful silvery gown, bedecked in her ankh, which I believe is probably a prop for the opera. And yeah, it was lovely. But Johanna played some cards, took some money from some people that she didn't need, but it was fun. And then everybody went to their berths. And as soon, my dear players, as soon as your precious heads touch the pillow and your eyes close, you sink into a very, very deep sleep. And awake fairly, it seems like a moment later, walking cobbled streets of an old town. And the town around you is veiled in a thick mist, but the mist has a golden and ethereal glow that tells you it's probably either dusk or dawn. An eager river chatters over pebbles beneath an archaic bridge of mossy stone, and the cobbles around you are thronged with cats. There are cats everywhere. And do any of you... Sean, you're muted.
Shoot. Am I?
You were.
Oh. When did we get off the train?
Maybe I missed it. Is there a smell in the air besides cats?
No, I mean it smells fresh. It smells like you're outside. Like nothing really around you it looks like a quaint village. There are like houses lining the streets. That are like overstoried houses, so like the upper level kind of overhangs the lower level a little bit. There are like in the distance you can see like an Ottoman ivory arches, and raised above the cobbled streets on the edge of town, there's just sunlight pouring over everything, and it looks very nice, and it kind of mellows out everything. You appreciate, you can see that it's just a beautiful area, but probably a little different. You don't recognize where you are for sure.
And we see each other at least, right? We're not just
you're
by ourselves.
You're all together. In fact, go ahead for a moment. I need dexterity rolls from all of you, because you are walking. Like you wake up walking.
I got a success.
Regular success.
Did everybody get successes?
Success. Regular success.
Very good, very good. So you make your way through the throng of cats without stumbling or tripping on any of them, or perhaps accidentally, stepping on a paw or a tail. Cleo, because you are the only one with dream lore, I went over this with the players before the game, but upon entering this place, they did gain 2 new skills. One of them is called Dreaming, and one of them is called Dream Lore. But Cleo is the only one that actually has any points in Dream Lore. So, Cleo, why don't you go ahead and give me a Dream Lore roll and see if you can figure out where you might be. Give me them dice. Nice.
That's
Nice.
an extreme success.
Yeah, that is an extreme success. So, which is funny because what is your dream lore? Like 6?
11.
11, that's right, half. So, yeah, wild. Those dice are back. She's rolling hot, guys. That needs to be a spot on the bingo card.
On the bingo.
Yeah, Cleo just rolls a 1 or a 2 because that's all that we get out of that corner. So you are familiar with this concept, but you have never been here before. But you are quite sure that you are in Earth's dreamlands. And these are things that you've probably heard of through some of the teachings and things in the books that you've read over the years as you've studied the occult, and even as you've studied some of the mythos tomes that you've encountered on this journey previously in London and Paris. And yeah, you're quite sure that this is the Dreamlands.
I like the terrible implication that there are other dreamlands that are not tied to Earth in your statement of this is Earth's dreamlands. It's very specific.
I mean,
I don't like that implication at all.
no one does. But just rest assured that you are in Earth's dreamlands. And as you're walking through, Cleo, do you tell your compatriots that you have an idea of where you are, or that you're even dreaming?
Yes, basically when Kelsey says, when did we get off the train, Cleo, upon looking around and as they're walking, will turn and say, I think our bodies are still on the train, even if we are not.
Can I either roll a cult or history to see if that correlates with anything that I would have been taught in the last, I don't know, however long I've been in college?
Absolutely. Why don't you go ahead and give me an occult roll?
Perfect. Ooh, yeah, that's a hard success.
Okay. You have probably read some murmurings about other authors referencing tomes and texts that might mention such a phenomenon. You're familiar with the idea of maybe like astral projection. You have not necessarily heard of the Dreamlands specifically, but you definitely are at least not shocked by this revelation that Cleo drops on you, that you are dreaming and experiencing a shared I don't even really want to call it a vision because it feels very tangible. You can poke Kelsey's arm and he's there, and the ground below you is solid. It doesn't necessarily feel super dreamlike, but it kind of looks a little dreamlike.
I will reach out and make sure I touch probably Emily's arm, and then once I've established that she is in fact substantial, then probably lean down and pet a cat.
Okay. The cats kind of move like they appreciate the one that you reach down for appreciates that you have attempted to do that, gives you a chirp of a mew, and then kind of bats your hand away and runs off. It's
but clear physical contact from the cat, right?
Clear physical contact, yeah. Felt like a cat.
It was my understanding from my readings that astral projection would feel less concrete.
I mean, I think that's a good call. I don't know if any of you have ever astrally projected or had an out-of-body experience, but it certainly doesn't feel like you're
As a
anywhere.
person or as Cleo?
Either. I had an well, I'll talk. That's for another day. But yeah, I've had
Yes,
what I
astral
consider an
projection
out-of-body
is a
experience.
thing. It is a thing.
I do find it interesting that after hearing something sung about ancient Egypt, we are surrounded by cats. Is this something that we've manifested together, perhaps? The cats, not just the area. I'm unsure about the whole thing. And she's very much looking at Cleo like, obviously you know everything, so go ahead.
'Cause I assume you're all still walking too, or have you stopped?
And are there buildings around us?
Absolutely, you're in a town.
I want to go try a door and open it and see if there's anybody in there.
Emily's standing
Wow.
like perfectly
Like, instead
still.
of knocking, he's like, I just.
Breaking
walk
and
right in.
entering across dimensions.
That's what I was like.
We're walking down
Okay,
the street. There's got to be shops.
okay, yeah. Mostly where you are, you're seeing more homes or what appear to be homes than necessarily
okay.
shops. But
Then I'll knock first. Then I'll open the door.
okay. There are the houses that you see are kind of strange. The doors are smaller. They have actually more human-sized doors, but there are a lot more doors that are like cat-sized.
Or cats.
Yeah. With your extreme success, Cleo, I will go ahead and give you a little bit more information that you are very aware that you have heard of Ulthar. And Ulthar is a city that is pretty much cats. Cats. There is a out on Ulthar's highest hill. There is a massive tower where dwells a long-bearded man. But you probably don't know that. So there are humans around here, or human-like people, but the cats, this is kind of their town. So if you knock on a door, Kelsey, a cat chirrups at you and looks up from a cat door and just looks at you expectantly.
Can I just emphasize the human-like portion of that description?
Well, I don't.
There's a lot to unpack there.
We're talking
no.
like humanoid cats.
Yeah, are we?
No.
This is where
like,
the Thundercats come from.
You're in Earth's dreamland where human-like things exist.
I'm just saying, the cats are the important part. There is an old man that lives on a hill, and he looks like a human. I don't know his story though. Okay, so I'm not gonna
He appears human.
assign a species to him. I mean, he may be human, and he may be just a dude.
Is he
I
just
don't
like a
know.
sphinx cat that just looks a little odd?
I mean, maybe.
Are we in Cats the Musical? That's just
No,
No.
so many buttholes. Ah.
Anywhere else.
So I guess so a cat door opens up and it chirps at me, right?
Yeah, he like it looks up at you like
I'm going
With
to
a-
ignore
with
it
that-
and knock again. A little harder
The
this
cat-
time.
the cat steps out and like sits literally right at your foot and meow. You're gonna make me do this, aren't you? You're gonna make me
Cleo-
make meow noises all night. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot.
You
Cleo,
chose
like-
this path.
Passes behind Kelsey, and she's just like, "That's his house," and keeps going.
Wait, what? Just like, really? This is where?
I mean, have you ever lived with a cat? Once the cat lives in a house, it's their house.
Yeah, and as Cleo passes by, says that you look at her and say, "What?" The cat just like spins. It turns around. Its tail like whips your shin. It goes into its house, and you hear the little cat door slam. So
Well.
Okay, I'm just gonna follow Cleo because I'm like, Kelsey's just like,
before
Alright,
we get
okay.
too far, I do have one question for the four of you. As characters, are any of you cat lovers, or are any of you particularly adverse to cats? And do any of you have an allergy to cats?
I was supposed to have a cat, but we've never really described it. So I've just
Oh,
kind
you
of
have a
given up
cat
and
with
forgot.
you. I forgot about that.
Yeah, like that is my fault for not describing it at any point during the game. Johanna keeps a cat with her, at least like at the places we've been staying.
Okay.
No, I'm just
Is it on the
imagining
train?
there's always a cat. You're just always holding a cat at all times.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
So, like-
wrapped around like a muff.
If it's not
Yeah.
there, it's in the picnic basket.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm much like a celebrity in L.A. Got a
So
little picnic basket with my cat in it.
did it
You're not wrong.
come on the train with you? And what is this feline's name?
Absolutely. I'll tell you what. For a small tip, I will let whoever tips name the cat. I'm fine with that. Not
Yeah,
suggesting
you
if
know,
there's someone
like-
Marvel in the chat. Marvel. Now's the time. Marvel.
That might get to name a cat.
Please don't name it Levrum. I'm not doing another cat named Levrum. Come up with a different name. But yeah, no, this is a cat that's been with us and was definitely on the train. But this is like a
Okay.
not trained. This is a cat with the right temperament to be traveling with.
Okay, it's just a cool cat. Well, is what I'm gonna say then. Just for brevity and to so you don't lose your fucking cat. I'm not going to let it be in the Dreamlands. The cat is like
Snuggle Bouncy Boots is 100% one of the names I call this cat. Thank you,
Snuggle
Ralph.
Bouncy Boots.
Yeah.
Snuggle Bouncy Boots.
Sir-
I don't
I'm
know
sorry,
if that's a
Sir
command.
Snuggle. Sir Snuggle.
Oh, okay. No,
Bouncy
that
Boots.
is actually part of the name. I thought I was being commanded to snuggle Bouncy Boots.
No,
But,
no.
Okay.
Or that someone's name was Bouncy Boots, and it was like Snuggle Bouncy Boots.
Yeah.
Right. See?
I mean, there's
Like,
a lot of
yeah.
options here.
A lot of
There's a lot of options. There's a lot of words there that can mean all kinds of things. But yeah, so you're in this town. It's beautiful. It's quaint. You're surrounded by just a horde of cats. And yes, you do see. I will say you see some humans like bustling around. So Kelsey, if you want to go like visit some like I don't know what would be fitting for this show, a pie shop. Go. You see a human woman setting a pie on a windowsill and like shooing away a kitten.
Does a cat promptly knock it over onto the street?
There's a cat that's very interested in it, but it does not knock it in the street. You're right.
Yeah,
These are civilized cats.
I'll definitely go up to the shop owner and be like, "Excuse me, what town is this?"
This is Ulthar in the Dreamlands. Welcome. Do you like pie?
I'm not
Do
familiar.
you like pie,
Yes,
sir?
Is it an older lady asking?
Uh, she would be middle aged
so
in
intense.
the waking world. Well, he didn't answer, and she's clearly a pie maker, and this has been ruined.
Yes. I enjoy a slice of pie from now and then.
Good.
I'm going to walk up to Kelsey, gently hook my arm underneath his, and whisper, "Don't eat the pie. It's a bad idea." And then kind of nicely try and drag him away.
I
Not
love
even
that, like, the girls are just like, Kelsey's like wandering around from house to house, and the girls are just like, they just like walk by and they're like, "Hello, come with us." Basically, if you do engage this woman in conversation, she basically says, "This is Ulthar. This is the city of cats. I don't kill any kitties. It is by law, no man can kill a cat here, so don't do that." That's like, she gives you the rundown. Clearly, you're new here,
Well,
peasant. And
don't make it a habit to kill random animals ever.
at that, a kitten or a cat purrs and like brushes up. You know how they do. Then they strop against your legs. That one kind of does that as Johanna tries to lead you away. As do you continue walking, or do you just want to like talk to people here? That's totally up to you.
Does Emily have her cane? It's really for practical walking purposes, because there's a lot of cats here and they're tripping hazards. And I'm old. I am old. I am crippled. I need my cane.
So, you have a cane. You do not have your cane. You have a walking stick. It's a nice one, but it is definitely a little bit more vintage. It's just a brief hello, how are you with technology in the Dreamlands. A thing cannot exist in the Dreamlands, like as far as technology and things, unless it has been unless it has been fixed in the waking world for like 500 years. So 500 years ago, a sword cane might not have been a thing. So I'm just gonna say you have a nice walking stick. But no, yeah, you definitely have an
It
equivalent
doesn't need to be a sword to be a weapon of mass destruction. It just needs to
in the
help me
right
get
hands.
around.
In the right hands, that is absolutely true. And Emily has the right hands. We know. So, but yeah, as you are moving through this town and kind of taking in this bizarre uh these people and you see other beings around that are kind of odd, that don't really match, like they're a little off. They seem human-y, but you don't know what they are. Again, you're in a dream. So it's probably also one of those things where perhaps your brain is just like forcing faces onto things. Those of you that are skeptics, give me a POW roll. I just want to see if you you
So
are
are we-
maintaining that this is a dream and this
So-
doesn't matter.
I'm strong-willed, so I do get my bonus die on this one for a power roll, right?
Yeah, because you are very skeptic. Yes, Matt.
So, are we dressed in clothes that we were wearing the night before, or just in our general what we wear every day kind of thing?
Yeah, I think you're wearing what you were wearing before. Your clothes will be fine. You're dressed. I mean, again, this is
Oh,
and
I'm less
Cleo
concerned
probably
about that. I'm more concerned about like how we appear and what that translates to in the waking world. That was it. Like, are
Oh,
we
yeah,
wearing
yeah.
clothes from 3 days ago specifically, or like, is it a generalized Cleo wears this outfit or something like it every day, and so there's some semblance of that?
as you are there, I'm going to say go ahead, if you're interested, go ahead and give me some of those, give me dreaming rolls. For anybody who wants to.
So
Give
for
me a
the
dreaming roll.
the POW check you asked for, I got a hard success.
And
Okay,
I got
and-
100.
Oh,
Oh, so
oh,
this is a little bit um honestly, you're in any other case I'd probably have you lose some sanity, but I'm not going to do that because this is such a quaint town and it's actually quite nice and relaxing. But you are fully committed to this, to whatever this is. You're like, okay, it's a dream. This is a lovely dream. I like this dream. This is better than most dreams I have. This is great.
Nobody's losing body parts. It's great, but again, Johanna, this is why we do not accept anything from an entertainer, especially not refreshments. This is what happens. Just
Okay,
get weird
yes.
hallucinations.
are we allowed to spend luck on dreaming rolls?
Yeah,
I do
but
like
you'll
to
still
ask
have to.
questions. Yeah, that's
yeah.
fine. Okay.
Did any of you, were all of you okay with cats?
Yeah, I have no phobias or predilections to liking or disliking them.
Okay.
Cleo prefers dogs and like horses, but cats are fine.
Okay.
Emily's a horse girl.
Okay. Johanna.
Oh, love cats. Absolutely love cats.
Oh,
Love
there,
all
yeah,
cats.
I forgot. You have a fucking
yeah.
cat. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Snuggle McSnugglebottoms or whatever.
I just,
Bouncy
Sir
boots.
Snuggle Bouncy Boots. Thank you very much. He has been
Apologies,
knighted.
Oh god, I can see Johanna doing a little ceremony with a little
With
sword.
one of those little toys. No, it's not even a sword. It's just one of
No,
those
it's
like.
definitely
cat
Emily's
toys.
cane sword.
Cane sword.
She like
Oh, that's
found a
true.
way to take
Let
it.
me
so that
let me
she
use
could-
this.
100%. I do like to think of Emily carrying around Lisa Frank like backpack and stuff with horses all over it, with like unicorns. Now that we know that Emily's a horse girl.
I mean,
She
with
was a cavalry general, so that's why she's a horse
That's
girl.
true. I forgot about the cavalry, or the cavalry. Yeah. So yeah. Jesus Christ, guys.
It's been too long since
What
we
was I
played.
saying? It has been. I'm like trying to
You
like
had
get
us.
my
You
thoughts.
had
in
us
order.
roll dreaming.
Yeah.
I did.
failed. I failed.
If you care
I
to, you
succeeded.
can roll dreaming and determine what you're wearing. Because when
Oh,
when
okay.
Cleo's like, hey, this is a dream, you're like, ooh, this is the closest to lucid dreaming I've ever done, and you see if you can change your clothes. And I'm going to say that you can. I'm not going to make you spend magic points. This is like, hey, I'm in here. If you succeeded on your dreaming roll, even just a regular success, you may absolutely kind of pick what you're wearing.
Oh, Johanna's wearing like a very, very nice like ball gown, probably appropriate to a style from about a decade ago.
It's
Okay.
very practical.
It's not practical at all. We're in a dream. I can do what I want.
That's absolutely right. So yeah,
Depends on
so
your
you guys
dream.
can determine what you're wearing and how you're interacting with things. But as you are going along, as you walk, just one second. Green fields and sleepy cottages appear through the thinning mist beyond, which also shows the glorious sunset. Um, as I said before, you saw kind of a nice mellow sunlight. You couldn't tell if it was sunrise or sunset. It is sunset. Voices begin to call from because well, up ahead you do see what appears to be perhaps a train platform. Um, and you are walking in that direction, and voices begin to call from the train platform, hurry, hurry, the train is coming. And at this, the cat's ears all kind of perk up, and they start like loping towards the train or the platform.
Train.
Always, there's always
no.
a train.
I'm not getting on a dream train.
Do you think this is what we're here for? I mean, we're obviously walking in this direction. Do you, Cleo? Do you believe that this is what we're here for?
Does Cleo have a sense of why they have all together found themselves here?
I will say that just based on your awareness and kind of ethereal awareness, if you will, of surroundings and things like that, that being here together would imply that you were likely summoned to this place or brought to this place. And if not for like an necessarily a purpose or a goal, you have at least been invited to this place, and someone was able to open that gateway. And so, being that you are already headed toward this platform, Cleo would probably have an inkling that maybe that is where you need to. That is part of this summoning.
Yeah,
If
she'll
that makes sense.
turn back and basically say that and say, it could be. There's a good probability that it is part of why we're here.
Does she mention that we were pulled here?
Yeah. Or that she thinks that someone perhaps found a way to get everybody all in together.
And as you're walking and you see this platform again, the cats are loping gracefully and rushing across the fields to this platform. And you do as you approach, you see steps leading up to the platform from a lane on the edge of town. A prosaic yet pleasingly lettered railway sign reads Ulthar Station. There are no tracks laid on the other side of the platform. Instead, long green grass, heavy with dew and studded with strange, round imprints, vanishes into the mist on either side. To the left of the spacious length of platform is cordoned off with a red rope tied between polished poles of brass. A small, exquisitely hand-lettered sign reads "Cats Only." Beyond this barrier, the station ivory is covered with resting feline forms. The latecomer cats hurry up to join their fellows in a purring, furry mass. There are all kinds of cats: homely tabbies and white cats with tabby patches, haughty Siamese and Abyssinians, and a soot-black mother cat and her friendly kitten. A blue and red carpet embroidered with gold leads from the station entrance to the edge of the platform. The writing on the carpet reads, "The Dreamlands Express." So, it is a platform. It is a station. There is some type of vehicle that will come through here. But Kelsey, it isn't necessarily a train.
Is it like the platform and everything? Is it human size or is it like cat size?
Yeah, no. There is the cats only area, but it
Okay.
is human sized. Yes. And go ahead, give me notice rolls, everyone. Look around. Look around, if you will, please. I have painted a lovely picture for you. Peruse it. And honestly, a regular success would be fine. Don't bother spending luck on getting anything super fancy unless you automatically roll that.
I rolled a 2.
Okay.
That will be
All
my
right.
extremest of extreme successes.
Just a regular hard success.
Am I insane? Where is my notice?
It's on
It's spot hidden.
Oh,
Oh, I apologize.
I was like,
Wrong game.
it's been a while.
I'm really good at noticing things in another game.
Nice.
Well, get
What was
those
yours
rolls
again?
out
A
now.
one?
One.
Okay. So all of you that succeeded, Johanna, did you succeed?
Nope.
Okay. Johanna is just loving
Looking at the kitties.
I'm gonna say that you have like
Dancing in
stooped
her ball
down
gown.
and are like trying to talk to the kittens, and there are some that are like coming over and talking to you. And that little soot black cat with her friendly kitten, like prances over to you and is all about pets and scritches and is very just footloose and fancy free. The rest of you, though, as you look around, you do notice other humans. You see other just all sorts of people kind of around, but the cats are the main constituent here. But you do notice a stick thin figure dressed in the blue and gold uniform of a conductor of the Orient Express standing nearby on the platform. He wears white gloves that hide his hands. A white and bird-beaked mask conceals his face. His long black hair is powdered and ribboned and set with a three-cornered hat. And he calls partly in French, but mostly in English, Mesdames et Messieurs, the train is coming, please prepare to board. And he is, he's looking at all of you and calling out and inviting you to join him on the platform, on the carpet that says the Dreamlands Express.
I mean, there's another section that's not just. I mean, the cats only was just one section. Correct?
That's farther down. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
There is one that is clearly made for people, and he is standing there. And there are other richly dressed Dreamlands folk there on the platform, and there are also people, like I said, that do look. We're going to call them human dreamers, and they are waiting to board the express. As it is, you see a cheerful-looking man with mutton chop whiskers, dressed in a woolen garments, carrying a briefcase. A gaunt and severe older woman in a high Elizabethan collar and widow's weeds, clutching a heart-shaped valise, and a dapper bearded man in fur-trimmed robes. And they notice y'all there, and they kind of nod in acknowledgement that welcome. You're dreaming as well. All three of them. Well, the woman ignores you, but the two men are fairly pleasant. She just stares icily ahead. She may nod at the women, but should Kelsey make any kind of overtures toward her, she ignores quite bitterly.
I think I found a kindred spirit.
Yeah. A woman before your time, Emily. Do any of you wish to speak to anyone, or do you just, okay, so Kelsey, you were saying that you do not wish to even get on the platform. Do the rest of you avoid the platform, or do you get closer?
These cats are great. I'm doing great with cats.
Awesome. Johanna is on the platform. Emily, are you following?
She's probably gonna just follow whatever Cleo is going to do, but for the most part, she's just enjoying her very nice dream.
Fantastic. Cleo.
Leo is curious enough that she moves forward.
Awesome. Okay. And Kelsey, what have you decided? Please prepare to board. The train is coming.
This ends up being another murder train, I swear to God.
The last one
Well-
went fine.
All of you begin to hear a heavy, regular thump coming from the distant mist. Clearly, something huge and is shaking kind of the earth with heavy footfalls, and you cannot make it out yet because of the mist. As you watch, though, if you do, multiple funnels of steam suddenly jet out over the station in all directions, and these that is not anything like any train you've ever seen before. From the mist, a monstrosity appears. It's it. If you saw this not in a dream, it would be very unsettling. It is a bloated and bulbous mass, an octopus or a centipede or a spider kind of thing, jelly-like and made of separate wiggling ropes all squashed together. I mean, these are all things that you see, and you don't really understand how it is what it is, but you see it there. Golden eyes roll within it from several places, and there are multiple maws that just open and shut. It stomps along on dozens of stumpy limbs that fold in and out of its body. It looks as if it were dredged up from some abyss, but and tentacles do writhe freely around all its fronts and flanks. Behind the beast, its tentacles are entwined with the second beast that follows, and a third and a fourth, and on and on and on, and an entire train made of these things. They're pretty grotesque, but because this is the Dreamlands, and because they are so obviously under control, like they are not attacking anything, nobody else seems bothered by this. They are just trucking along in order, and they are all like latched to each other, tentacle, like they're kind of just like grabbing onto one another, and they pull up to the station, and therefore you don't lose any sanity seeing this, because they're clearly not here to harm anything. They are very much under control.
They've already
Still worse than the
harmed
murder
my
train.
sense of calm.
I don't like this dream anymore.
Nope.
I would
Yeah.
like to wake up.
Okay. Well, let me. The lead beast, which, for the sake of everything, we'll call the engine, will move past you and halt at the end of the platform. It gives a heavy, ponderous sigh, and from all of its open maws and tentacles and things, some eldritch steam kind of snuffs out. It looks like a weird, like I described this earlier in the week to someone else as like, imagine the cat bus if Lovecraft created it. The cat bus from My Neighbor Totoro.
Yeah, that didn't give me
If you're
nightmares.
familiar.
That doesn't make it better.
Okay, that's fine. Atop the beasts are ivory pavilions. Banqueting halls, bathhouses, and richly furnished sleeping compartments are glimpsed as or through archways. Rare furs, costly carpets cover the floors of the pavilions and conceal all sight of the beasts beneath. So it's these beasts, and then on top of them are carriages.
Okay, so we don't have to get in.
We have to get on.
Get on, but we don't have to get in them.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna go inside the monsters. Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, it's the Dreamlands. Don't act like that wasn't a fair question.
Yeah, really.
I wasn't able to finish my description. Okay, this literally, it's just it's not. I should have warned you all. Tonight is a lot of reading, because there is a lot of descriptions
That's
here
fair.
that
There's a lot
really,
going on
they're
there.
good descriptions. But yeah, no, they're carriages on top of the beasts, and the beasts just seem like they're just doing their job. It's their job. They're rolling. So as it comes up to Henry, or I'll call him Henry, but the conductor starts to rattle down a ladder, and he wants to assist he comes down, he's like, do you wish to board? This is the Dreamlands Express to the land of hope that lies beyond the city of gold. Here's your free ticket, and he hands you each a ticket if you wish to take it. And I will say, and so this is the gentleman with the bird beak mask on, and he is completely covered from, like, you can't see his skin. He sounds he sounds European. He has a slight Belgian lilt to his accent. He can speak French fluently, and he can speak and he does speak English very well. And he speaks. I'm going to say he speaks English for this purpose. Because of Cleo, and I don't want to have to worry about translating things. Um, but yeah, he singles you out, and he comes down and he's like, here's your ticket. He basically says he doesn't recognize you from previous journeys. This is clearly your first time, and he would like to invite you to join him on the train. He does take special note of Emily for a moment. You don't have to roll your eyes. And he's like, oh. And you see him kind of take in the look of your scars, and he just slightly touches your hand on the top of your cane, and he says, you are more than welcome to join us on he talks to all of you. He says, then you are more than welcome to join us on this train if you would like. It is an opulent mode of transportation in the Dreamlands. None finer.
No one's gonna ask. I'm gonna look at the conductor and be like, where does it go?
The land of hope beyond the Golden City.
Beyond the
Yeah,
city of
come on.
gold. Duh.
It's on the sign.
Nothing.
Next up,
Okay.
City of Hope.
He says, well, okay, please allow me. And he says, in the waking world, I was Henri Peters, a conductor on the Orient Express. I have created my Dreamlands Express for all of those who ride the Orient Express, and at the end of the journey, in the Gulf of Nodens, you can unburden yourself your fears. But I must tell you, there is only one journey. You can only ride the train to its destination one time. You must understand. But if you are ready to ride, welcome aboard.
I'm
So-
gonna look over at Cleo.
Yeah, Cleo, give me a dream lore.
I will spend 6 luck to make it a regular success.
Okay. You have heard of Nodens. He is, or they have been mentioned in some of the Cthulhu texts. They are another eldritch being, like essentially a god, but I can link you all to some interesting Nodens lore. I believe he's the one that rides around with, like, on a seashell or something.
Oh, Nodnes or
Yeah,
ENS.
mhm.
He's the not evil, not good, but not evil Cthulhu.
Yeah.
god.
He's kind of he's true neutral. He's like,
If you put a mask on in Masks of Nyarlathotep, he becomes a very prominent figure.
yeah, we never did that.
No, you guys were smart.
Yep. But yeah, I can link you guys to some stuff. But yeah, he is one of the Eldritch gods, but he is not, like, on the same level as, like, Nyarlathotep or Azathoth or Cthulhu or any of those that seek destruction. He is just kind of chilling. You could probably piss him off and make him mad, but anything that you have read about him, Cleo, has been fairly neutral. He's just an eldritch being, and so wherever this train goes, it goes to the Gulf of Nodens, or Nodens, however anyone wants to say it. And he explains, when he says at the end of the journey in the Gulf of Nodens, you can unburden yourself of your fears. And he says that sounds a little cryptic, but truly, if there's something that burdens you in life, you can rid yourself of it. I had my own things that I wished to rid myself of, and I was able to create this train to create a place to go to that is pleasant, and you can experience all that the Dreamlands have to offer, and hopefully maybe cast something away that is holding you back in life, and you can get rid of it here and offer it to Nodens, and everything in life it gets a little easier.
If he keeps talking, I'm gonna offer him to the whatever.
Okay. Now. So he does hand you a ticket. This does not require you to use it. I am going to drop in. I'll probably read it for the chat, but I'm going to put the ticket into. On the ticket, it stipulates the rules of the train. I'm going to drop the handout for y'all in the handouts folder for Dreamlands. If the four of you need to read it, but I will also again read it out loud. 1 second, y'all, while you consider whether or not you're going to get on the train.
Well, I would, for one, enjoy staying here with these friendly cats, although they are getting hair all over my things. That seems far preferable to this. But,
Well, many are getting on the train as well.
Cleo, how dangerous is this train going to be for us?
Does she have a sense? I mean, obviously she knows kind of
Honestly,
in general where it's going and knows.
Absolutely. I'm going to say that you, I mean, the impression that you're getting from Henri is that he is completely unflappable. His manners are top tier. He is very pleasant. Even with the mask on, the voice that you can hear and the eyes that you can see are supremely kind. Give me psych rolls. Give me psychology, or I think psychoanalysis would allow Cleo to use.
Oh, I succeeded.
hard success.
I did not.
Regular success.
Okay. Those of you that succeeded, again, you feel like there is nothing about him that trips any triggers. He seems like a genuinely kind person he refers to it as his Dreamlands Express. This is something that he put effort into, and he is trying to share it with anyone who comes here. He says, I was a conductor on the Orient Express. Yes, it was opulent and luxurious, but the people that rode it were burdened with all sorts of cares and concerns, and I wanted to create a way for them to come to this place and unburden themselves of those cares and concerns, and again, experience all that the Dreamlands have to offer, the City of Hope. He paints a very beautiful picture of it, and those of you that succeed, you have there is no hint of guile in anything that he says, and the eyes that you see are actually rather warm and welcoming, and very human. You are convinced of his 100% that he is or was at one time a human, and is now a resident of the Dreamlands.
Yeah, so, Cleo turns and says, I believe the train and the intention of the train is true and safe. I believe any reason that we would have to be unsafe would be from outside the train and not the train itself.
And I will interject here that if one of you decides not to board the train, none of you board the train. I'm going to force you to stay together. Otherwise, that person who does not board the train, and that's fine. You absolutely don't have to board the train. But I'm going to keep you together. If one decides not to, you all will come out of the Dreamlands. So if that influences your discussions, keep that in mind.
So, if we were to ride the train, we could... Like, the ticket explains the thing you just dropped in the handout, right?
It does. So let me go ahead and read that for the chat.
Yeah.
The Dreamlands Express ticket. Human dreamers or once human dreamers whose waking self is now dead may travel the Dreamlands Express for free. In order to journey on the Dreamlands Express, you must board while asleep on the Orient Express. Once you have slept on the Orient Express, you may return to the Dreamlands Express at any time from any bed in the waking world. Once you have boarded the Dreamlands Express, you return to the same express even if days, weeks, months, or years have passed. You may use your ticket to journey between the cities the train serves. Ulthar, Dilathleen, Zar, Afarat, Thalarion, Zura, Ira, Sonanil, and Saranian. If you stay on the train beyond Saranian, it is assumed you wish to discard your fears in the Gulf of Nodens. Beyond Saranian, there is no return. At journey's end, you will return to the waking world. After visiting the Gulf of Nodens, you cannot board the train again, even as a paying customer, as that would negate the sacrifice you made. This is a bargain made with Nodens. It is non-negotiable. So, as dire as that sound, it's basically saying the train is here so you can unburden your fears. If you want to ride you can just ride the train all you want and just travel around the Dreamlands and see the sights and learn things. Or if you travel beyond that, it means that you have something that you're wanting to discard into the Gulf of Nodens. Nodens takes it. It's, it's a bargain you make with him that literally that care or desire or whatever it is that you throw there, it is gone from you when you wake up, and you can never come back on the train because your journey has ended. So when he says you can only ride it once, it's not like, oh, if you leave now you can never come back and get on the train. He's saying if you ride it to completion and do that, there's no reason for you to get on the Dreamlands Express again. If you want to go somewhere else in the Dreamlands, you just have to go to the Dreamlands and travel by other means, which you do see signs of other means of transportation. This is just the one that, because you are on the Orient Express, this is the one that summoned you here.
From the reading of the ticket, I believe, Cleo, that it might be worthwhile for us to at least get on the train and ride it for a little while. We can always come back and revisit this at another time. We don't have to ride it to its last destination.
I agree. I would actually personally prefer not to ride it to its completion tonight. But
not tonight, no.
I don't see the harm in getting on to be able to then in the future come back.
Roxy, the train seems to indicate that Oldath is the first of the stops, and there are several between us and...
There are, yeah. So, okay. Ulthar is where you were brought in at, but it does... Here,
the order it puts it in is everything but Ulthar is between
Ulthar was the first one. So the train service is Ulthar, Dilathleen, Zar, Afarat, Thalarion, Zura, Ira, Sonanil, and Serenian.
Okay.
Means nothing to any of you. But I will drop you the map. I have a map of the route.
We can stay in this perfectly idyllic little town, pet cats, eat pie, and not get on the creepy train.
Oh, so first, I wouldn't necessarily eat pie or any other food here. Ingesting part of a dream could have, I'm guessing, some sort of negative effect on us in the waking world, but I'm not positive. I'd rather not find out.
Emily turns to Cleo just to confirm or deny this.
Yeah, that's fair. It's 100% fair.
I mean...
Johanna could just be bullshitting.
I mean, I will say, Cleo, you have noticed, because you did succeed on your notice roll earlier, right?
Yeah, that was my one.
Yeah, that's right. Success. You see, like, okay, remember those 3 human dreamers that I mentioned to you? The 2 men and the woman? One of the men is actually eating something that he picked up at one of the shops around here. Seemingly to no adverse effects.
Okay, the picture...
I mean, it depends. Are you allergic to pie? If you're allergic to it, probably not, although, maybe.
And the one that's eating, he kind of overhears, and he's like, well, just avoid the catnip pies. They look like they might just be a savory meat pie, but they are not. I mean, they are, but they're not. But this one is lovely, boysenberry. Do you like boysenberry? It's so good. I play a Scottish character in another game, and I can't do a Scottish brogue, but this guy has a definite Scottish brogue.
I mean, we have the tickets. We could always revisit if we must, but I, for one, have no desire to visit the Gulf of Nod and try to offload my fears.
I think that I agree with that statement for tonight, for me. But this does give us a foot in the door should we need this later. I don't feel that... I feel like there's too much in coincidence here for us to ignore it. We woke up in a dream walking towards a train station.
And yet we could just wake up. You could just wake up and this was just singularly your dream.
Do you remember the gentleman who was flayed of his skin? Because I do. That dream isn't going away. And I am concerned that there are tools here that we could lose.
I mean, that still doesn't... I mean, I could be dreaming this whole scenario and not one of you remember this in the morning because this was all my dream. I'm still not convinced that this is a shared dream.
I sincerely regret having to interrupt you, but do you wish to board? The train is preparing to leave. Because and you look around and you see that the cats have all boarded, the ones that were waiting, and the humans have gotten on the train. The human dreamers and yeah, the train is like preparing. Now you still see luggage and things on the platform. And Henri kind of looks around and he's like, he kind of is looking at them nervously and looking back at the train, and he's just like, or not nervously, but he's a little anxious, and he's like, are you getting on or off?
If only we hadn't had a horrible train experience in the past.
Well,
we've been
Every time we get on a train, it just turns bad. Yeah.
I'm gonna say you have a minute to decide. You've gotten to talk about it. Are you waking up or are you getting on the train?
Emily, Kelsey, I would ask that we get on the train. If you choose not to, I will hold no ill will towards either of you. Although if we wake up in the morning and we all remember this, Kelsey, I will tell you I told you so.
I'm gonna look at Emily and I was like, I mean, it's a dream. What's the worst that can happen, right?
There's the spirit.
Clearly, Kelsey's never seen
We've been on a terrible train before. I would prefer to just eat pies and relax here. This is nice, but if the Fraulein wants to get on the train, we can get on the train.
I'm gonna look at Cleo and I was like, and let me guess, you want to get on the train?
Oh, I do very much.
All right, I'll get on the train.
If there are cannibals on this train, I will tell you I told you so in the morning.
It's quite fair. Quite fair. Quite fair.
Maybe don't eat the pie then.
Yeah. Ooh. Ooh.
It's boysenberry, not people.
Except for that meat pie that was definitely catnip.
Well, there was catnip baked into the crust, and the catnip is absolutely. Chad is right. Catnip is 100% edible, but perhaps the old Scottish man is just like, they flavored it for kittens, and it's just not up to my stuff.
It has a soporific effect. We may not want to take a nap on the train in our dream train.
In our dream train.
Yeah.
Sleep within sleep within sleep within sleep. So
What if this
the
is
four
the
of you,
real world and everything else is?
We're
Like
in
that.
too deep at this point.
So the four of you decide to board. Then it sounds like, and once you do, go ahead. You know what? Just for grins, give me a little notice roller or a spot hidden. See if somebody can spot something hidden right now.
23, which I think is a hard success for me.
Ooh, a hard success on the nin.
Yeah, hard success.
You got a 1?
I got the
No.
one. It's my turn for
Okay.
the one.
Yeah. It's the Ala and Alyssa 1 and 2 train.
Look,
So
my dice go
everybody
from
succeeded?
100 to 1 and nothing in between.
So anyone with a hard success or greater, as you're boarding the train, you notice that as you get on there, you see the bags start to load onto the train, and at first you're like, what? And you may peer back, and you distinctly notice that like tentacles are coming out and loading the bags onto the train. But they don't. And Henri is like, they're a bit shy, and they don't necessarily like showing, their tentacles. They prefer to work undercover. So thank you for getting on the train. Thanks.
We'd also prefer not to see any tentacles, but here we are.
And
You're
not
the ones who took your time.
And there's not like a dream version of our
No,
thing.
you are alone. You are
Okay.
alone wearing clothes, and Emily has a cane. That is all that made it to the Dreamlands with you. Anything else you would have to use dreaming to manifest those things.
I have my tattoos. Or am I like...
Yeah. You still look the same. You're like, I haven't seen bear skin in years.
Fortunately,
I forgot
tattoos
I
have been
had
around longer enough for 500 years to be here in the.
Yeah, well,
Mhm.
yeah, that's technically that rule is more about technology. So like if you have
Oh.
a flashlight, it's a torch now or a lantern. If you have a gun, it's not a gun anymore. So
It's a slingshot.
yeah. So even though Henri's Orient Express has changed from quite a bit, he would be willing to tell you more about his history should you ask. But he made his Dreamlands Express if the Waking World Orient Express is the epitome of luxury and opulence, the Dreamlands Express is even more so because it is shaped and changed by the dreams of the people writing it. So as those dreams get more opulent and grandiose and what have you, the Dreamlands Express becomes even more so. And it's a really neat thing. Like, as I said, one of the women that you saw was wearing like a high Elizabethan collar. Human dreamers and waking world passengers can ride this train from any era. Like, you're all coming. This exists outside of any kind of timeline that you are used to in linear time as you know it in the waking world. So people from different centuries can discover the train, ride on the train with these people from different centuries and different times, and then the what are to you alien people of the Dreamlands citizens can ride on the train, and you can dine with them and talk to them, and you see all of them just mingling around, and it's fascinating. But and then you can do that and then go back on your way, and everything is back to normal. But you could talk to someone from 400 years ago if you wish to, or Sarnathian, or a being of Ib, or any of the weird alien people that inhabit the Dreamland space. But yeah, so you get on the train, you are shown to your compartments. Henri is his service is impeccable. He guides you to where you go. You have no belongings to worry about. You have not decided whether or not you would like to go to the Gulf of Nodin, so you don't have any sort of dream artifacts at this point. But you may indeed, at some point, if you do wish to create a dream artifact, you can. And he kind of explains that to you. If there's something that burdens you in the real world, you can manifest it into an artifact here. And should you wish to ride to the Gulf of Nodens, you may then cast that out the side. Anything else that is, and he explains this as well, anything else that you try to cast out the window will be returned to the train. The tentacles do not allow littering, as it is. So,
Fair.
Understandable.
so let me go ahead and drop you. Did I drop you guys the train cars too?
Yes.
The look of the train cars? Okay. Yeah,
Which, by
so
the way, that picture is a whole lot less terrifying.
yeah, I mean, well,
The little silhouette at the top.
Yeah, I
it's
was
like-
imagining something far creepier.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
technically, it truly is far creepier, but they can't just make it look terrible.
And the
All-
bad
the-
car Is the bathhouse just a bunch of cats laying around licking themselves?
The cats tend to keep to. I'll be honest with you. The cats tend to keep to their cart. So,
Oh, and
just to
number 10.
give the viewers a little description. The carriages are linked by ivory drawbridges over the beast's tentacles below. Rich door curtains of red velvet lower over these doors to keep out drafts. Softly colored lanterns light the corridors and compartments. We don't have exact floor plans because actually the sleeping compartments can be added or removed as needed. Based on the journey, there are times when you could ride, and Henri explains all of this, but this is Rue telling you, and you can there are times where you may come back to the train and it takes a mile to get to the banquet house as opposed to it being next door, because depending on how many passengers we have to add room. These are carriages of dream and can expand per the dreamer's fancy. So it starts with the engine, which we meant. This is the beast that leads the train. There's a vast ivory pavilion on its back, but there is no ladder to the ground, and the crimson curtains are always closed. Then behind it is the fuel tender, which this beast is used as fuel for the train. The night gaunt stokers hack out its jelly-like flesh and throw it into the maw of the engine beast. So that's kind of gross. But yeah, he actually literally exists to feed the one that's driving the train. So the first beast. The second beast is, yeah, he's literally fuel. Then there's a there's a baggage van, which when you saw the tentacles coming out and moving things into the baggage van, that is the compartment that it was moved to. It holds luggage, kits and supplies, trade goods. It also holds other luggage. Say you do bring luggage ever to the Dreamlands Express, you can leave luggage in the baggage compartment and you can come back to it. There is a padded compartment which is directly below the baggage van, in the belly of the beast. It's a strange, there's like no windows. Henri is like, this, don't worry about that. This is for people who prefer to travel without the convenience of sunlight. We have a constituent of people that we will probably pick up on the way, and they like to throw strange parties there. I would avoid it, though.
We're talking about vampires?
No. No. No
Albinos.
vampires here. Huh?
They're just albinos. Vampires, come on.
No vampires here. Beyond that is the bathhouse. Above this beast is a communal bath of scented, heated water and towels of utmost fluffiness. This is a dream, after all. All Dreamlands folk bathe nude, regardless of the sex. This is something that he does prepare you for. So if you do go there, and you don't want to see a Sarnathian nude, you're gonna see a Sarnathian nude. That's all I have to say.
Who doesn't want to see a Sarnathian nude?
I mean, the Sarnathian delegation enjoys bathing together and indulges in witty discourse and amorous entertainments. And they will invite the most good-looking among you. So Johanna and Cleo, keep yourselves away from the Sarnathians. They will invite you. And it will require, Henri is like, they will single out one of you that they like the most, and they will invite you. And the rest of you, should you try to, coattail on, it will take a lot of convincing. It's just, avoid the Sarnathians if they get on the train. he's like, they're wonderful people, and but just warning you, this is your first time. You're going to meet some people. Beyond that is the sleeping compartments. There are, in this particular configuration, there is only a couple. Depending on how many passengers they pick up, more of those will be added, as I said. Beyond that is the men's saloon, of course, where the men may gather. There are, literally it says, thagweed hookahs stand ready in the men's saloon, while dozens of bottles glint temptingly in racks on one end. Haunches of venison, ribs of beef, and mighty loaves of brown bread stand on a sideboard along with every condiment imaginable. which like you'd be
Wow.
surprised how many condiments I can imagine. I mean, I'm a
That's
saucy
lot of
lady.
condiments.
That's a lot of condiments.
That's a lot of condiments.
The banqueting hall is after that. A long table runs down the center, and as I'm describing these, just imagine yourself being led along by this man in a bird beak mask, and showing you all the places. A long table runs down the center, with chairs on either side, all of oak inset with teak. The table is set for a meal with cloth of gold, knives of silver, and rubies inset in the handles, crystal goblets and decanters, and vintages of fine wine. The breakfast and luncheon menus are varied and ever-changing, containing the best of Dreamland's produce, although the omelet of Shantak egg takes some eating. That's a sentence that I just read. Dreamers can always order exactly what they like best, or the nearest Dreamland's equivalent. And he explains there will be 3 evening banquets on the way to the Gulf of Nodens, should you wish to go there. Beyond that, then, is the kitchen. This is an enclosed area that opens off the banqueting hall with a self-closing door of teak inlaid with mother of pearl. The curtains are kept shut. Mouth-watering scents emanate from this compartment at all hours of day and night. You are all already awash in the savory scents emanating from the kitchen. The clashing of pans can be heard, but if a dreamer enters, no one is visible. Pots are left to bubble over braziers. Ingredients are laid out as if ready to use. The kitchen floor has no covering. Its floor is the cephalopod hide of the dream beast, with one bulging golden eyeball rolling around. Henri is gently and well, it just he says if you start poking around the kitchen, he gets upset. So don't do that.
So he draws the line is poking around the kitchen.
Yeah, I can't pronounce what he says, but apparently it's going to ruin that omelet I mentioned earlier. So just be aware. He's like, please don't bother my workers. Beyond that, then, is the ladies' parlor. A fanciful garden of sweet flowers is planted here, and filigreed tubs between which scented fountains play. Don't worry, ladies. There are more bottles on display here. Bottles of ornate and curious design, holding liquors of startling color and unknown potency. Cream and jam-laced cakes and dainty 6-pointed sandwiches are on hand at all hours. See, I'd want the hookah. I want the hookah. Give me the fucking hookah.
But we get tea sandwiches.
We get 6-pointed sandwiches, which what the hell is that?
Can I just state that I would probably enjoy the cakes with jams and cream more so than the hunks of venison.
Than the hookahs? Yeah, and
well,
the
hunks of venison and stuff.
Yeah, right? And then last but certainly not least, as it is the most beloved compartment on this train, it is the cat compartment. The cats of Ulthar lounge in this carriage, which is luxuriously appointed with all manner of feline furnishings. So as you look at this train, Henri is like, I must ask, do any of you have an aversion to our feline friends? And he takes in the, he's like, those of you that love cats will be welcomed most graciously. Absolutely, they will accommodate you even. Did any of you happen to step on a cat when you were coming to the station today? Oh, thank God. Okay, good. If you have any aversion to cats, they will know. They are quite keen and they can sense those sorts of things. But this is their carriage. They will usually keep to it. But they will accommodate you if you wish to be accommodated. They generally do not roam around. And he's like, he waits just to see if anybody asks questions. He goes, "Whew, okay." He's like, I don't. It's not worth it. If you don't care why they're alone, then that's fine. It's easier to let you just ignore them if you don't want to be there. Unless he does notice that Johanna is probably peering like quite happily through the door, and They will let you in if you wish to go.
I would encourage this over the orgy that was otherwise in her future.
Those are the two options.
Those
Cats, orgy.
Pussy or pussy.
Henri is like, excuse me, that does no, well, maybe.
Yes.
Shall I show you to your compartment?
Please.
bustles
He's like,
off.
please get me out.
Get me the hell out of here. Okay, so you are now on this train. You have, and he explains that it will take. Where's my timetable at? Because there it is. It will take. So you got onto the train in Ulthar at the equivalent of what you would think, because it was sunset, so it was, we'll say 6 in the evening. He explains that the next stop is Dilathlene, which it will take 6 hours to get there. So you are free to,
Dream hours.
6 dream hours, indeed. Yeah, Henri explains that, time is obviously very different in the Dreamlands versus the waking world, and as he explained earlier with on the ticket, you can return here at any time, and it will be almost as if you'll return to even like the same time on the train. So if you leave, let's say you woke up now, and you didn't come back to the train for another 6 weeks, when you came back, it would be like maybe 10 minutes later. Time moves very differently here. It is a construct of the waking world. But
honestly, it's hard enough, and the time is weird enough. Let's be honest.
Right, right. You do see the 3 human dreamers that you saw on the steps. So you do see the old Scottish man that had been eating the pie. He may even bustle through as you're getting your tour, and he says, "Oh, I'm Mac McKenzie," and you see the other gentleman who is bearded, a little bit more severe looking, and then you see, of course, the woman. So you are free to interact with them as you will. Mac McKenzie is definitely the most gregarious of them and seems to be the most open to discussing anything. But the train departs as the glorious sunset reddens the sky, and you are on your way to Dilathlene. And the train, as it leaves, there's not even a jolt. The beasts just start plodding their way forward, and the pace quickens as they pass through the scenic and cozy country between Ulthar and Dilathlene. You see sleepy farms and dozing cottages. The line, so whatever you're riding on, which again, there was no train tracks, of course, because these are just animals. They follow along a path parallel to the road along banks of the River Skye, which is known as the Singing River Skye. It actually does sound like it sings as it babbles. Like you hear about babbling brooks and things like that. It literally kind of sings as it goes. The train is soon flashing past 2-wheeled horse carts favored by the merchants of these parts. Again, as I said, you did see other forms of transportation. This was just the one that you were invited to. Give me a dream lore roll, Cleo.
Quick question. When you say the River Skye, you mean SKY?
It's SKAI.
Okay.
So again, these are actual. So, as I was telling my players beforehand, I understand the problem, how problematic Lovecraft was. Absolutely. And I would not encourage anyone to read his things unless they were really interested in it. I think he was an ass about a lot of things. I still enjoy some of his stories. And you can read, if you wanted to learn about Dreamland's lore, if this was something that did interest you, The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath is probably my favorite out of he had another one, and I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. I had it written down somewhere, but I don't have it anymore. But all of these things are mentioned in a couple of his stories. So if that's something that does interest you, I remind you that he is very problematic. He had some views that were more acceptable, I guess, in his time period, but uh, he had some serious things going on and thoughts about people. And so we do not endorse any of those here. But and thankfully this adventure is not written to enhance any of those either. So that's nice. What'd you get on that dream lore roll?
No.
A nada. Okay, cool. No problem. You're like, oh look, horse and carriages. So he has shown you to Henri has shown you to your compartments. He's like, you're welcome to explore the train, do enjoy the bath, enjoy the food and things. We will have a welcoming banquet later, but we will. He's like, we'll sound a gong before when it's time to gather for the banquet. He does say, if you do wish to eventually ride the train to its final destination, and as it passes over the Gulf of Nodens, if there are any fears you wish to discard, you should probably create a dream artifact to represent it. This is best done in your sleeping compartments, so nobody can interfere with it. But he does say, he will go over that if you want, but if none of you are interested in doing that at this time, that is something we can go over later. But he does have that knowledge for you. And as he's talking, it's about this time that you see, if you remember on the platform and Althar, there was the soot black cat and her kitten that that was all over Johanna. Well, he has found you again. And Henri's like, Blackjack, you shouldn't just put yourself. Every time you ride the train, you just wander about, and the cat just purrs and mews and kind of figurates around his legs, and then goes over to meet everybody in the compartment.
I will sit down on the floor with Blackjack, and then I would like to manifest a really, really good scotch and 4 glasses.
Oh, okay. Well, one second. We're gonna test this dream shit right now.
That was the point. Yep.
That was the point. Let's test this dream shit. So, I'm going to say for a small. Well, you want are we talking like a 40, or are we talking like an appropriate size bottle of scotch? You don't want like a vat or a keg.
Right. No. I want something that can pour 4 glasses out easily and still have some left in it to pour more.
Okay. So I am going to say that. Let's go with. I need you to give me a dreaming roll.
Okay.
Number 1 to see if you succeed.
Okay. What happens?
And what is your dreaming skill percentile?
It's like 16.
Okay. Did you succeed on your roll?
Oh yeah, no, that's not gonna happen.
Okay. See, this is the thing.
So, do you just conjure a glass of water at that point? Is it?
I'm gonna spend 16. Spend three magic points for me.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and say that you went ahead for the sake of it. Because
Sure.
it looks like you actually don't necessarily have to roll this. I guess you do, yeah. So if the magic points spent equal or exceed the value and the user's skill roll is a success, then the object is created properly. So, since you didn't succeed, are you going to go ahead and spend your magic points?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't
So
know how
spend,
this works. I'm gonna infuse my will into whatever I'm trying to do.
Spend 3 magic points. Because how far off was your roll? Like way?
Like.
Do we have any rerolls in chat?
Don't we have some left over from last season.
I
It's been a
got rid of
while.
everything. I got rid of everything from last season. I'm gonna let you re-roll it because we're testing that dream shit. So
Sure.
go ahead, re-roll it. See if you
Oh,
can
that
get
oh that
closer.
actually is under, like for real. I got a 15.
Nice. Okay, so you spent 3 magic points.
Mhm.
You have successfully manifest a bottle of whatever an appropriate scotch would be, and 4 glasses, and blackjack purrs, and seems very interested in the bottle of scotch. And sits he sits like a distinguished gentleman right in front of you on the floor.
I will.
Blackjack is a kitten, right?
Yes.
He is absolutely a kitten. He is maybe like 4 months old. Emily's like,
I-
no.
His mother is okay, not the kitten.
I pour, I don't know, like 3 fingers in each of the glasses and pass them out to each of the people here. And I want to keep an eye on Emily and Kelsey to see how they react to Blicker just appearing out of nothing.
This is just a dream.
Yeah. I mean, they're committed to the dream, right? So,
Yeah.
It's fine with me.
all right. So, Henri does explain. He's like, if you do ever take the whole journey, it takes a total of 56 hours in Dreamland to get to the end. But it is a 3-day trip of unmatched speed, much like the Orient Express in the waking world. I did mention that I was a conductor one time, right? It was,
Yes.
Several times.
It was a lovely train. It was a lovely train. It was a
Several
lovely-
times.
Did your
Jesus.
I'll leave you to your compartment.
Like, he was all touchy and kind of judgy, so
Was he judgy? I did not intend for him to be judgy. He was more he it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can ask and find out about it later if you want. But he was touchy, yeah. He did touch your hand, God forbid.
I will sit on the floor and drink my scotch and pet the kitten. That sounds like a great time.
Sounds great. That sounds great. There is some time. Some time passes, and well, you smell all these scents of the banquet, and eventually a gong does sound, and calling you all to the banquet hall. I am going to say that at this point we are going to take our break, but we will take our break with the gong sounding and you all being summoned to the banqueting hall for your welcoming feast. And while we are on break, I will drop the menu for this feast. And
boy.
enjoy. Enjoy. So I will
A little
let's go
concerned
ahead-
about that enjoy.
Well, I mean, it's Dreamland stuff. So I mean, are you really
Rocky
gonna
is-
know what it is?
Roxy is far too excited about this. I'm concerned too.
There's probably
Enjoy.
separate,
I am
separate menus for cats.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably,
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm having a vision of the whole Temple of Dune dinner scene.
No, there's gonna be
Yes.
no monkey brains.
Okay. Or
in
eyeball
this.
soup.
brains.
At least I don't think so. I don't remember that. So
Well, and-
anyway, we're gonna take 10 minutes. We'll be right back. And I'll probably have some announcements and things like that when we do get back. But thank you so much for being here, and we will
Definitely.
see you in 10 whole minutes. Bye bye.
I'm an older dude.
We are back. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlethems. We are here and we are on the Orient Express, kind of. Welcome back. Sorry, I forgot what I was gonna do when I came back. I was copying a file over. So there are some more handouts in there for y'all if you want to look at that banquet menu. But yeah, thank you again. This is Rook and Rasp. This is a channel that that my partner and I, John, pipe into your faces 3 times a week, and plus other times if you want to be here. But we appreciate y'all coming out and joining us for tonight and spending your Cthulhu's and earning Cthulhu's and all of your chat support. We really, really do appreciate it. Some quick announcements. Tomorrow night we will be back with more of The Voyages of, our Star Trek Adventures actual play, charting the journeys of the USS Saranitis in the Gamma Quadrant. That is Matt's baby. That is his show.
But more importantly, tomorrow, if you look to your right, that is your storyteller. John will be running the game. This will be his first for...
you guys can't see him, but he's there.
Yeah, for Star Trek. He'll be running a game, so come out for that. That'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I don't know what time.
That's fine. And then Tuesday we will be back with episode 5 of By Leaps and Bounties, our 7th Sea 2nd edition actual play that features me and Allah and John again.
And a bunch of thirsty pirates.
We're the thirsty
Yes.
pirates now.
We're the thirsty pirates now. We were thirsty not pirates for a very long time, and now we're just drinking in all the seawater. So we have that will be back for episode 5 on Tuesday. It's a time. We had a really kind of off the books episode last week that was just kind of a let's have fun and fuck around, and we did. And it was good. It was good shit. So come back out on Tuesday night for that. We encourage you to do so. And I believe on Saturday we are having another Seriously Let's Play. We will be doing a kind of impromptu Seriously Let's Play of Gutter Punk. Again, my partner John made this game. He's super proud of it. He got to play test it with 4 different groups at Gen Con. It went very well. We had one of our independent creators have to postpone their episode to September. So John is filling that space with Gutter Punk. So please tune in on right here at twitch.tv/rookandrasp at 2 p.m. on Saturday and check out that, where you I never remember the tagline, but the one that I give is that you can fight the man with music and attitude. So who doesn't want to do that, right? I mean, sounds like fun to me. But yeah, Matt, you had another announcement that you would like to make.
Yeah, so back in the day in the long ago before the diseases, I used to run a podcast called The Nerds Domain. You can find that by searching The Nerds Domain on any podcaster that you use. We are going to have our first episode back talking about Gen Con. Be myself and Rob, who's on Star Trek, and then my partner Gina. The 3 of us had very different experiences at Gen Con. Nothing bad, mostly not bad. But it was a good time. I got ran over by a cart. Listen, nobody should be allowed to pull a wagon through any convention ever.
Oh, we've already had a rant about this. So wagons, if it's not carrying your child, like if it's not a stroller.
Yeah, I accept wagons with children in them. That's perfectly understandable.
If you're just hauling a wagon because you're going to buy that many games, go back to your fucking hotel room. Okay? Just get it, go. And like, I have a board game backpack, and they are great, but I have one of the more stylish looking ones. The ones that BoardGameTables.com does, they look awesome. They hold a lot of shit. But those things, if somebody stops suddenly and spins and they're wearing one of those, I got body checked by like 3 board game backpacks filled to the brim with God knows what. Probably like Descent or Nemesis or any of those massive miniature games.
Dominion and all of its expansions.
Twilight Imperium 4th edition.
Right.
Yeah, and it just out of nowhere, Junior Jones just decides to stop in the middle of the crowded vendor hall and just spins, and that thing I'm almost old, guys. I don't need to be being body checked by board game backpacks in a crowded vendor hall. I'm saying, go ahead.
I was further irritated by guy ran over my foot and then looked at me like it was my fault, and I was like, seriously? And he's like, you gotta watch where you're walking. I've never wanted to kick somebody's cart over
shove it
ever.
Up your ass.
Oh, that guy. But that'll be coming out the 23rd.
Guys, we had a great time at Gen Con.
We did.
Wow.
I did buy some great candles that were very impressive last night at D&D. That Lich's Lair, Roxy, like no joke. It set the whole
Thank
thing
you.
off.
That
Even though
that
there
is
were
my
no
third
liches,
blend.
there were no liches, but there were a lot of drow in the Underdark, and it seemed to fit the
It
thing.
fits.
So,
It's a very Rudy celery kind of.
yeah. But
root
yeah,
cellar
we've
type
got
of
that
smell,
coming
not
back
celery.
out.
It's like, oh,
That podcast is going to be a little more monthly than it used to be. Used to be sort of
Nice.
weekly. So
Sorta.
we're going to ease back into that and get some podcasting done because I'm itching to do some. Yeah.
Y'all, if it wasn't for the Nerds domain, this would probably not exist. So just throwing that out there. John and I partnered with Matt 5 years ago now.
Thank God I got robbed. No,
That's
I mean
the best thing to come out of it is our friendship, Matt. Just
yeah,
remember
honestly,
that.
like, no.
It took you losing all of your equipment.
Yeah. I got robbed, and John and Roxy were kind enough to give me a little bit of money on a GoFundMe, and then they met me at Gen Con, and it was a nice little click. Although we missed our 5-year anniversary, where I should have shown up on Wednesday night.
I totally
kicking
invited
myself
you
on
to
that.
what was our inadvertent 5-year anniversary
Yeah.
at the same place. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, definitely come out to check that out. It'll be out on the 23rd, probably bright and early. And then I've got other podcasts that might come back. There might be a companion piece for the Voyages of called "There Are Four Lights," which you can only say if you're yelling it.
There are 4 lights.
Where our first officer and I talk about Star Trek episodes as we go through all of them.
Yeah, I was supposed to be on that show, but it got kind of soft canceled before. And I just assumed it was because I was going to be on it. So.
No, that was not it. There were a lot.
I know. There was a lot of shit going on in those days.
Yeah.
Oh, life. It's great,
Right.
isn't it?
Right.
Everybody on this game is so scared of dying, but in real life, we're all like, God, life sucks. But, okay. Anybody else have any announcements they would like to make before we dive back into the welcoming banquet on the Dreamlands Express? Man, if I were like better at most things, I would have changed all of our stuff from Orient Express theme to Dreamlands themes when we got on the Dreamlands Express. Thought of it now, but
Next time.
Might have been a little late today. Just a little smidge.
just a little bit. Yeah, that would have been really cool. Like if it wasn't the little, the train whistle. It was just like blah, 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 like Cthulhu talk.
blah, 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 blah.
I mean,
Oh yes.
There's
I
a
don't
sound clip for it.
Yep. Yep. That's not going away. Okay, so let's go ahead. So the gong sounds. You all get to. You all head towards the banquet. I assume. Do you all wish to feast on this train?
Absolutely.
I'm not entirely sure if you get hungry in dreams, but if you do, they have a lovely welcoming banquet spread for you. So any of you out in chat that would like to mentally prepare yourself and envision and imagine the tastes of what our intrepid investigators will be partaking of, let me read this menu to you. And if you're vegan, turn off your Twitch for a minute. So we have cream of turtle soup, grilled elephant pad stuffed with truffles and sweetbreads, spit roasted pheasant, quill, and partridge, boar's head a la mode, fruits, nuts, and spices from Siddharthian groves, and sauces prepared by the subtlest cooks, suited to the palate of every feaster. And then
So
your
there-
drinks... Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so there is one vegan option.
There are vegan options, but there are mostly dead animals. Apologies.
What does a la mode mean? Does that mean with ice cream?
Yes,
I
usually.
mean, that's how I understand it, but I don't... Maybe it's in a gravy? Maybe it's just... Because doesn't a la mode, does that not refer to, like,
On
a moat?
top.
Oh, is that what it means?
Thought so.
See?
Oh, it means braised in wine.
I was going to say in wine, typically with vegetable.
Nice.
Interesting. Although
Well,
that's
the
normally
elephant pad could be something else entirely. It could be elephant ear, like the plant. It could just be.
I mean, it could be. It could be. I hope so. Truffles and sweet
Could be
breads. What are
pad thai.
sweetbreads? What are sweetbreads?
Brains.
Brains.
That's what I
Sure.
thought.
Wait,
Yeah,
you gotta say it
gross.
appropriately though. Brains.
And would not recommend. Flavor's good, texture's real weird.
I thought you said there weren't going to be any monkey brains.
Yeah.
They're not.
I-
They're elephant brains? Question mark.
Oh, yeah,
that's
Just
horrible.
yeah. I mean, I didn't. Honestly, I didn't think about that until I saw that just there because I had spaced that out. So apologies, I lied. The drinks menu: pearls from wave-washed metal dissolved in the vinegar of Thrace, and the wines of Sarub, Implan, the Carthian Hills, and Mount Aran, as well as Zug Moon Tree wine.
Oh, yeah. You got to get a good moon tree wine.
I mean, you do. You got it. Now, I will say this is a little trivia tidbit for you, but the old man that the patriarch in Ulthar that lives up on the hill avoids at all costs Zug Moontree wine. Hates it. Well, doesn't want anything to do with it.
Are you making this up whole cloth, or is that written in the adventure?
That is written in the adventure. I skipped it earlier because it didn't matter, and why would you know? But yeah, he is adamant that he avoids it. No Moontree wine, no Zug Moontree wine. Zugs are mentioned in more detail in the Dream Quest of Unknown Kadaf that I mentioned earlier. It is they are another race of people.
And I double checked just so we don't get emails. Sweetbreads is actually pancreas.
Oh,
Or
see,
thymus.
Yeah, or thymus. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's just
Really
it's just organs.
depends.
I do
thought
do
it
organs
was-
and glands. Okay.
Sweetbread.
do love me
I
some.
thought it
liver.
was what it sounded
I
like.
want I would be fine
That's
if it
the
was
lie
a
they
sweet
tell
roll.
you.
The Dolly Madison sweet rolls that we used to get when I was a kid. That's when someone. But then I watched Iron Chef a lot as a kid, and I was like, that doesn't look like bread, and that doesn't look sweet.
I was imagining like sweet stuffing.
Right?
What do I know?
Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know anything
Well,
about
that's-
food. I get fed every day on set. Like,
Yeah, I don't
get
have to do
catering
anything.
given to me.
Yeah, I don't have to do any of this.
But
So
now you know if they ever hand you something called sweetbreads, walk away.
Oh, no, eat that as quick as possible. That's going to be delicious.
Is it?
Oh, stop
Yeah.
it. Stop it. Foodies I don't get. Okay. And they don't get me either. I'm the condiment person, remember. But so you all get to the banqueting hall. And this is a time where you honestly can sit and you can talk to the other passengers, you can get to know them, those that speak a language that you can. So the three human dreamers are happy to speak with you. Johanna, as much as I know that you have language skills, I'm not entirely sure that the language of cats is going to be one that you can discern.
I took
but-
one of my what do you call those? The extra things you get. Their talents is cat whisperer. Actually, I took a cat whisperer talent.
Well, blow me down. I didn't know.
No, that's fair. Although, no, I'm just going to talk to the people.
You can
Okay.
just meow at them and see
Yeah.
how they react.
I mean, you could
with
do what I
cats,
do
you
to
just-
my cats every day.
You just talk to them. They understand exactly what you're saying. They just choose
they
to
do.
respond when they want
They
to
do.
respond.
Our cats fought earlier. I don't even know if our housemates know this. They're home now and watching, so this is a treat. Just side note, two of our cats hate each other's guts, have since we moved in together, and they fought today. I think the girl Nar attacked the boy Neo on the cat tree, and he just Ralphed on her, and it ended the fight like that. So it's the first time that has ever happened, to my knowledge. But John had to deal with that. So that was if you're ever in a fight with your bully, with your arch rival in school, kids, if you're watching this, just puke on them. They'll stop and they'll go away. So now that we're at this banquet, I would love for you guys. Do you want to meet these people? So
I
you
do.
want to talk to?
Sure.
They will introduce themselves. So there's Mac McKenzie, who already introduced himself and told you about the pies in Althar, and he seems like a very kind man, and there's also like I said, a bearded man there with a little bit more of a sterner face. His name is Karakov, and then there is the woman who introduces herself as Madame Bruja. Again,
Bruga?
J.A.
J. So, Madam Witch? Because, I'm sorry, Bruja is Spanish for witch. Did we just get introduced to Madam Witch?
Don't be rude,
I mean-
Johanna.
So, can I pick up where they might be from their accents? Just in general.
Sure. So, I already told you that Mac is a Scotsman.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Sorry, I've got to find their information because that was the one
Madam
thing I
Witch.
didn't ping. Madam Witch. So Mac McKenzie, stout, genial, gray-haired soul clad in a traveling cloak and garments of hoary antique cut, Hoary, which yet bear a suspicious resemblance to Scottish tweed. So he's clearly
He's got
changed
a
up. He's
giant V-neck that shows off all of it. That's his hoary
all of it.
cut.
Cut from
That's-
like
and-
chest to kilt.
It's just curly body hair, just sticking out. And then Karakov, yeah, if you want to know where he's from, he has a British accent and bearing. He went to both Eton and Oxford.
Fancy.
Okay, sorry, that was rude. He's just really fancy. And then Madame Bruja. A stiff old lady in a that is exactly what it says. She's a stiff old lady in Elizabethan dress with a starched ruff and a wide skirt of dark rich stuff. That's a statement. Her severe face is gaunt and skull-like. Her eyes are dark and shadowed. Does she speak? I mean,
The
she
more
does
you
speak.
talk,
It
the
doesn't
more-
mention her accent. I think she's English though.
Okay, the more you talk, the more it reinforces this witch thing.
If she doesn't speak, Emily would love to sit next to her in just comfortable silence the entire time.
I will say, she really doesn't say a lot. If you do try to engage her in conversation, she will avoid Kelsey at all costs. She does not want to speak to men. She does not like men.
The one old lady
first-
that doesn't
What a
like me in this
twist!
game.
Yeah. This is unprecedented.
Yeah,
I mean, he already got
She,
offered pie this episode by some old lady, so you know.
right.
Sounds like now
when she-
absolutely the story is going to be that now they will fall in. And he'll be like the one man that she tolerates.
Right.
Yeah, I'm only 35, so probably not.
Love knows no age.
I mean,
Age is a
yeah, it
number.
just says she's an old lady with a skull-like appearance. She doesn't look that. I have pictures of these people I can share with the cast after the show. But yeah, she kind of just mutters to herself, Emily. She doesn't really say a whole lot unless she's particularly engaged. And yeah, if you were to go give me a listen roll. That's a thing in this game, right?
Yeah. Ooh, not on that number.
That's a hard success.
Lovely. Okay, so you hear her muttering things. So she's clutching like a heart-shaped
Valise?
valise. Yeah, that's the word. She's clutching that, and she's still clutching it even as she eats. She just has it in one hand, but she's holding it close. And you hear her muttering things like, "I will never let him have it," and "I will not lose her twice." And but generally, if you do not engage her in conversation, she will not engage you. Mac is more than happy to talk enough for everyone. He's very, very jovial and starts talking to you. He's like, you know, I don't know why I was gonna what accent I was gonna pull out for that one, but it wasn't gonna be accurate. But he just kind of he eats, and he's kind of got an honest red face and mutton chop whiskers, and he speaks with an honest Scottish brogue. And he's like, well, I'm a diplomatic courier, if you can believe that. I fought in the Boer Wars, but I I was too old to fight in the Great War. And he's like, but, you know, I decided I could continue to serve as a courier and done some dangerous stuff, but we don't need to talk about that. It's boring. He's like, I was on the train headed back to London before I resigned. I don't know why he said it to switch. Oh, that was okay. Never mind. He's not on the train with you in your time, but that's where he was when he boarded.
Are you, Mac? Are you planning to go all the way to the all the way to the Cape? Not Cape.
The Gulf.
The Gulf.
The Gulf of Nodens. Yeah. I hate politics, and my work is all politics, soulless politics, and all I really ever wanted to do was be a poet, and I'm ready to be done with all of this. And give me a notice roll. Anyone who is talking to him, or spot hidden. I'm sorry.
Yep, got it. Yeah, very success.
I got a 5, so extreme.
Whoa.
Regular.
Regular success.
It's not a 1, so it doesn't really matter.
Did you roll, Emily, or you don't care?
She doesn't really care.
Yeah, okay. So a spot hidden shows you, those that are looking, that he does have a briefcase handcuffed to his wrist, and it is kind of bulging with papers, and when he talks about the dry, soulless life of being a political courier and diplomatic courier, he kind of pats the thing and he says, I'm going to throw it all away. These are just treaties, and it's pages and pages and pages of things that literally, I mean, they use so many words to say nothing. And I intend to carry it to the Gulf and cast it into the abyss and finally be free of all of that. But not today. I'm actually on my way to Sonanil to study the art and poetry there. It is a lovely place. I highly recommend it.
When was the first time you came to the train?
I came to the train, well, as I said, I'm headed to London to resign, actually.
But how do you know of this other location? Have you been in the train long? Have you been moving around?
Oh, yeah,
easily?
I've been to the train a few times, yes. It's just easier to keep this with me than leave it anywhere. And honestly, having it handcuffed to me, it's kind of familiar. This is how I transport most documents. But yeah, this is not my first foray into the Dreamlands, as it is. It's lovely here, and it's far more exciting than you know, my day job, as it is.
That all into the Gulf of Nod? What was it?
Yeah, the Gulf of Nodens.
Nodin?
Yeah,
If you cast that all into the Gulf of Nodin, does that mean you're going to forget everything associated with it? Because doesn't that kind of make you who you are? Your experiences?
I don't think I'm going to forget it. I think it's going to take away. It's I just don't want to be burdened with it anymore. So I mean, I am resigning my position, so I won't be physically, but honestly, I don't know. I've never met anybody who's done it. They're not allowed to ride the train again.
Maybe it just wouldn't hold you back.
Could be.
What you said you've been to the Dreamlands before?
I have. I've ridden it from a few places. It does. it travels if you stay on it long enough. But I've been able to take. I've traveled by cart between other cities, and then gotten back on the train. And Ulthar is my preferred point of departure, or embarkation. A word. That's my preferred place to get off the train.
What brought you here the first time?
I fell asleep on the Orient Express. Same as everyone, I assume. Anyone who sleeps on the Orient Express, if Mr. Peters is anyone is to be believed, anyone who falls asleep on the Orient Express wakes up here at least once.
So this is Matt asking a question. So the Orient Express has only existed for like 40 years. So the implication is that the Dreamlands did not exist until then, or at least humans couldn't come
This
here?
train, this access to
train.
it.
Gotcha. Okay.
This train and this access. So, yeah, none of you have talked to Henry to understand how this came to be, but we'll say Matt kind of. He's like, yeah, it sounds like Henry just wanted a place. You know, a lot of stuff happens in life that people don't like, and he pats his briefcase and he's like, so I definitely took the opportunity to be able to see more of a world that I would never have been able to see otherwise. But yeah, so out of game, or out above the table, this is anybody who falls asleep on the Orient Express can wake up in the Dreamlands because of what Henri has done. They
How
can
did they previously
immediately
get around? Was it by dreamboat?
Oh, get the fuck out of here! You're fired. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there are boats in the Dreamlands. I'm sure there are, but usually cart and horses. Nothing so cute as a dreamboat.
Mac, have you met any other humans that haven't come here this way? Have come a different way, perhaps?
I honestly, I mean, anyone can come to the Dreamlands. I have seen. I mean, people get on the train from all over, and they don't necessarily start in the Orient Express. But there are other ways to access the Dreamlands. There are other gateways. I have met other people, but not necessarily. I mean, I've met other people. It's confusing, but it's a dream.
Is there anyone around this banquet table that is obviously not human or from some like a different reality from our own? Like, there's
Just
no
cats.
Yithians or anything like that?
No, just cats.
Okay.
Now, do the cats
Right
sit like
now.
people in their own little chairs, or are they on the table?
They do. They sit in their chairs. They're very polite, and they wait for their service. And yeah. There's no rudeness. And they don't eat with their hands.
Just occasionally, one of them just swats a wine glass off their side of the table for no reason.
Legit.
The Ulthar cats are civilized, thank you, and they do not wish to. They don't have humans to annoy, so they don't do that. The other man, Monsieur Karakov, he that also got on the train at Ulthar, he kind of leans over and you say he is careful of his appearance and has ring-covered fingers, fur-trimmed robes, and a black Van Dyke beard and mustache. His British accent, again, is very pronounced. But in looking at him, well, none of you are English, so that note doesn't matter. He's a jovial soul with a fund of amusing anecdotes, and so he starts telling stories and things like that. And you get the impression, as Karakov is trying to talk to, I'm sure he's trying to talk to one of the ladies, and Mac, who's still talking to Johanna, is like, you get the impression that Mac isn't very fond of him.
So Karakov is clearly from money because he's riding the Orient Express, right? That's the assumption.
That is
Or
the
a path.
assumption. Yeah, I mean, he did go to Eton and Oxford.
Do I know him? Is he in society? Because I've spent time in London society.
He is. I misled you before based on his accent. He is actually not British,
Okay.
but he went to English schools and fakes it
And
real
picked
well.
up-
But there is a note. Go ahead and give me a psychology roll.
Sure. Oh,
Anybody who wants to about Karakov.
yeah. Ooh.
I think I succeeded on that.
An extreme success.
Oh,
Regular-
you care.
Regular
Well,
success.
not really, but I'm keeping an eye out, especially if anybody is making eyes at Johanna.
I will go ahead and say, not that this note necessarily applies to you, because it does mention that the xenophobic British of the time specifically will immediately class him as foreign. So he is not English, but he speaks very well spoken English. And with that psychology roll, Johanna and Emily and anyone who had a successful psych roll, you get the impression from the way that he speaks, he is able to kind of compartmentalize what he does, things. Because Mac is like, oh, I don't like that guy, but Karakov puts forward a very jovial and welcoming presence, but you feel like all of that is kind of surface.
Sure.
Like he's the guy that has all the stories to tell at dinner, but you really don't know much about him. And Mac is like, all right, Karakov, we know. And please don't interrupt my conversations. And Karakov is, oh, don't be such a stodgy old man. And, is trying to socialize and get a word in edgewise, but you are free to talk to him. And Mac's like, well, he's an arms dealer. I don't like arms dealers.
He's an arms dealer.
I mean, technically, arms dealer would be my title, but I am only providing to nations what they would otherwise acquire.
Providing to nations or providing to non-government bodies in nations?
Oh, no. I am absolutely in government, the business of dealing to governments. I mean, the war wasn't that long ago.
No, it wasn't.
You have to use them.
You do.
People need them.
As long as you're not funding rebellion and uprisings and unrest.
Absolutely not.
Good.
And I don't know.
Deal in anything besides weapons, or just weapons?
Just weapons. We provide firearms and do bayonets exist in the First World War?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bayonets and blades and all sorts. I like to say that the things that I sell, they won the war, and that's what's important.
So not art or artifacts, just things to kill people with.
A vulture.
And
That's what we call them.
Mac is like he sips his chartreuse wine and he kind of I like them, Karakov. I like them a lot. Like them a lot more than you, that's for sure.
To be clear, I wasn't necessarily judging. It's just that is the purpose of a weapon. That is the purpose of a gun.
I believe Emily and I were.
By the way, very low bar to set for us.
If any of you want to, you most definitely could, if you wanted to attempt to persuade him to see the error of his ways, perhaps you could if you wanted, or if you don't care, he'll just sit there and
His
Unless
but
somebody
a
wants to
dream.
roll a psychoanalysis roll, could maybe make some headway with him. Especially, actually, Cleo, give me a psychoanalysis roll because you're the only one who. So you only sell things to kill people.
Poor Cleo. It's like she really puts her foot in her mouth, and she's like, "No, I mean that's what you do. Like that's what a gun is for." Not...
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, beyond the anecdotes and the him trying to be warm and feeling, you do get an impression from him that I mean, he's got kind of cold eyes, and he's not. And once you learn that he is an arms dealer, you kind of get the impression that it's like, oh. And his argument that, well, if I didn't do it, someone else would. What'd you get?
A hard success.
Oh, fantastic. So, as you're talking, and Mac's like, he says this all the time. This is not the first time. Karakov and I actually know each other from the waking world. This is not the only place I've met him. We have crossed paths in our times, as you can imagine. He always likes to say that other men would have done the same, but I like to point out that do you have to be so good at it? I mean, he talks about his successes all the time and how he can outsell Zarahov, and it's just, I feel like if it's all just something anybody else could do, then why are you so damn proud of it? And you can tell Karakov is kind of, he's not receiving this well. And your psychoanalysis roll, Cleo, as you've made your comments, he's like, I know what I do and what the things that I sell do. And he kind of grows somber. He's no more jovial, and even Madame Bruja is like,
Oh, the witch is upset.
she's listening. She's listening because and you might hear her murmur like, "Oh, we've never talked about this before." It's yeah, she's like, "Spill the tea."
Leaning in.
But
Do you understand what you sell and what it does? Because
of course.
I think that my father and his friends would have a better understanding of what the weapons of war can do to those of noble station and intent. We lost quite a bit in that war that you just so nonchalantly sell weapons for.
You must understand that I make my living as anyone else, a job. I know what they do, and I know what they do, and I struggle with that in my own way. I believe it is why I prefer the trade here.
I too dabble in weapons of war, but they're not weapons you've probably ever seen.
Well, if you carry with you the things that I carry with me, you have my sympathy. And with that psychoanalysis roll, you do, Cleo, more than any of the rest of you at the table. Cleo, you can see that you have made some type of connection with him, and he is clearly very troubled by what he does. He puts on a good show because you have to, and he has come up with the arguments to justify his work to himself, but he is riddled with guilt and remorse.
Leo holds up. I assume she doesn't have her flask. 'Cause this is a
well, I
dream
mean, you
world.
could have manifested one if you wanted.
But she holds up, her wine or her drink, and she just basically says, "To having a choice."
And he lifts his glass, and his is another chartreuse wine, and he taps it against yours, and he's like, I've been. He kind of looks at the Countess and he says, it's easier to put up the show, but I am haunted by the sounds of guns when I sleep. The Dreamlands is the only place that I can escape. And even here, I hear them still.
I know all about putting up a show, my friend. Think nothing of it. It matters nothing. We are in a dream, experiencing something fantastical. We have food stuffed with what I hope is sweetbreads of the elephant and not from something else. We should just enjoy what we can while we can.
And he just kind of
Can I manifest poison in his drink?
Oh my god.
Listen. There's some bitterness deep inside Johanna about what happened to her family during a war.
Well, I get that, but your
Not
family
enough
bought
to
their
kill him.
weapons from someone else.
We want something where he gets sick.
I mean, if you wanted to try that, you would have to manifest the poison and then put it in his drink.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. That's not okay. That's fine.
But yeah, Mac Karakov kind of retreats into himself, and he actually moves farther down the table, and Mac is like, I don't care for the man, but I don't. No, don't apologize. He's earned his fate. And I don't care for him, but this is the only relief he really has. He's not been well in many years.
Good.
Yeah, he's last I heard of Monsieur Karkov is, it actually surprises me that he's here sometimes, because I would have thought that he'd have died by now, but he's very, very ill. Last I heard, he's suffering from heart disease, and almost is bedridden.
Well, sometimes our demons kill us faster, and sometimes they keep us alive to make us suffer more.
There are waiters moving through with, I assume, trays of drinks and such.
So, no, there are not. You do not see. There are wines on the tables, but you are not necessarily being. I don't believe anyway. Let me find this, because no, there are not. I mentioned the invisible, or the kitchen was empty. That's because the people on the train, that the menials of the Dreamlands, due to Henri's view of service, is that it should be impeccable and invisible. You should have your needs met before you're even aware of them. And and so he has the tentacles on the outside, and then there are they're called fluting things, but invisible fluting things that cook and wait on the passengers when Henry is not available. So he is doing, if there's anybody serving you, it's usually him, but there are invisible things that are servicing everything. You really have no idea what they look like, just that things are moving about on their own.
So once Karakov has moved down the table, I will empty my glass of whatever alcohol, probably that moon tree wine. Like
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's
It's like
good.
refill. You can't empty it; it just keeps.
Let me get back to the wines, because there's a thing about the wines. So let me
That's
find
fine.
that. Where the
Yeah, no,
fuck did
nope,
it
had
go?
it coming. Not thinking clearly. That's what happens.
No, that's all right. Where did it go? Sorry, guys, I gotta find this. So,
And oh, and you die. Sorry, Matt.
no, I don't think it's that bad.
And you drank
that
poison.
bad.
Hey, I
Surprise,
didn't have
it's
to
just
manifest it.
poison.
I could have just handed him a glass.
Right? Okay, where the hell is this? This Dreamland's on. Okay, here we go. A note on the wines. The wines of Sarub are chartreuse. Those of Implan are champagne. And it is when you haven't been served the Implan champagne yet, but it is the only wine that matches the roast peacock. So that's why you have to have it. The Carthian hills produce red wines and Mount Aran white. Zug Moontree wine is poured from gourds. It is fermented sap from a haunted tree which grows from a seed dropped by someone on the moon.
Yes, I 100% would
Anyone-
agree with this.
100%.
So give me a con roll.
Oh, all right. I succeeded. Just a regular
Okay.
success.
Okay, that's fine. You do not pass out. So,
Oh, good.
It is highly intoxicating, is my understanding. But not like in a bad way. It's just going to put you fucking out.
But it
it's-
hits me like a train.
Yeah. Or a tentacled beast that has a carriage on its back.
A tentacle beast train. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all I wanted to make sure that the Zug Moontree con roll was made. But yeah, so enjoy your
So I probably
enjoy
would have
your gourd
downed
wine.
the whole glass and then held it out waiting, just assuming it would be filled. Because not only does
And it
that
is.
happens, but like
It
also
is.
Johanna. And then
Like as you drain it and it comes away from your mouth, more wine is in the glass.
nice. And as I go probably back to drink a little more, I stop for a second and I put the glass down. And it is clear that there's a level of inebriation in Johanna that was not
Okay.
there but
Okay.
moments ago.
Very good, very good. Do any of you want to talk to Madame Bruja? Or are you just gonna let her mutter to herself? That's fine. She's happy to do so.
The witch can be crazy over there.
Okay.
I'm actually just sitting there watching everything because I am like way out of my element. This is
You're not flirting with Madame Bruja.
No.
It's an old lady. This is
No.
exactly her element.
Everything
That
is.
is, I don't know how that ended up being canon, but that is not my element.
It is absolutely canon. So as you dine and you talk to the fellow passengers, Mac is a lovely man. He is happy to talk to you the whole time, if you wish. And but yeah, he as the plates are taken away, you are then encouraged to retire to your sleeping quarters. And
Go to
I mean,
bed.
he's like, yeah, there's no more food. The courses are up. But and you do see as you start to like file out that little Blackjack tries to slip into the kitchen, and Henri speaks to him in the language of cats, and he will interpret it for you. And he's like, if Blackjack loves to just explore everywhere, but there are some places that are just not befitting for a young kitten, and honestly, his mother, Sophie, would be very displeased with him. So he needs to run along home. And he chasens him for a minute, but the kitten just runs off and scampers away. And Henri, you can't see his face, but you imagine that he's smiling somewhere under his bird beak mask. So, and then he will show you back to your compartments that have been your divans have been converted into beds, and everything is as it should be.
And when you say this bird beak mask, I'm picturing like a plague mask. Is that what we're talking about? The bird plague mask?
I would say something similar, but I actually don't think it. So when I think of the plague masks, they have like you can't really see the eyes behind them a little
Right.
bit just because of how far. But I think it's just more. If you've played BioShock, more like the masks that are in BioShock, where it's
Okay.
kind of a masquerade mask, but it's got a bird beak on it.
Gotcha.
Okay. In fact, if you would like, go ahead and give me a spot hidden, Kelsey.
Good jeez. Why is this happening now? 4.
You catch a glimpse of scarred skin underneath the mask. As like there's a just for a second, it flashes a pale swath flashes above his collar and before where the mask starts, and you see that he does have some pretty terrible scarring under there.
Is he going
with
to talk
that
to me in a
four.
mirror? Am I going to start singing?
No,
His fingers aren't like knives or anything, so.
no.
Is he going to try to
Jesus.
kill everyone in the opera house so that I can be
No.
a star?
There's so many confluences of references happening in this moment that I'm just like, jeez, no, everything's fine. But like I said, he will take you back, and he says that we will be at Dilathleen around, give us it'll be about 2 hours. So please sleep if you wish, or don't. Free to do whatever you wish, but your compartments have been converted into luxurious beds, the most fluffin' and fluffless beds that you've ever
What
seen.
happens if you sleep in the world of dreams?
You sleep.
Do you
You're
dream
free
of
to wake
something
whenever
else?
you wish.
Do you dream of your
suppose that's
life,
for you-
of your waking
That's-
life? Do
I
you go
mean,
back
would
to your
that
waking
not-
life and then wake up here? Sorry, am I
And,
confusing you?
no. Henri is like, well, that would mean you can if you wish. It is up to you. You can leave when you like. Or you can just stay. Forever. He doesn't say that. He does not say that.
Just need some friends.
So, I mean, you can go back and sleep, or you can just go and like have a slumber party, do each other's nails, and have a chat as the Dreamlands roll by. Or do you wish to
What
wake
does
up?
happen if we fall asleep in
I think
a
that-
dream? Do we just go to another dream?
You just sleep. Honestly, you just sleep.
Inception.
I think that we
Yeah.
have established enough of a foothold here to come back at another time, perhaps when certain members of this train are not here.
You mean the cats?
No, I like the cats.
That's what I wanted to say was, yeah, fuck the cats. No, I would never. The cats are great. I love cats. Except for when they ralph on each other. So, do you guys want to wake up? Or would you like to carry on till Dilathleen?
Do you
Oh.
think we'd ever be able to find someone here who had ever seen the simulacrum? I mean, people are the entire world is anachronistic.
I like that you're asking the person who has less dream lore than you about dream lore stuff.
Give me a dream lore roll,
Me?
Leo.
I mean, in
Oh, that's
hypothesis.
good. No. I was like, oh look, I failed. I got a 0.
Okay, yeah. You know what? I'll spend 5 points of luck and I'll make that a success.
Okay. Well, as you contemplate this, you absolutely possibly could.
Blackjack.
Oh, there's a kitty.
It's a kid day.
Oh,
A kitty. The possibility is there. So one of the things that Henri explained to you also is that upon death, someone who has been to the Dreamlands, in the waking world, upon dying in the waking world, they can choose to go to the Dreamlands and spend out their eternity there.
Which means that.
So there are many people in the Dreamlands. So there are dreamers that are no longer in existence in the waking world. They have died and they've chosen to stay here.
Which means that our guy, what's his name? What was his name?
Henri?
No, the
Count
the
Finnick?
dude-
Or-
The
oh,
Finnick.
Count Finnick.
If Finnick came, he could have chosen to come here if that wasn't in fact his ghost thing. In the
He could have.
area.
In theory, yes, he could have. You have not received any evidence or any idea. Everything has been far more idyllic than anything that Fenalik has thus far been associated with.
Yeah, we've seen very little though. We went through a little town and got on a train. Like, there's, I assume the train.
That is true. I'm sure there are terrible things here. I mean, to most, the beasts that are carrying the beasts that make up the train
I mean,
are look like terrible things.
iconically,
somewhere.
the spiders on the plateau of Lang are atrocious. I'm
Yeah,
not even scared
yeah.
of spiders, and no, thank you.
I gave you guys the map of the Dreamlands, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
And I mean, honestly, if we're going to find someone here that knew of the simulacrum from the past, I mean, would we even be able to communicate with them? Would they all of a sudden have learned similar language that we have?
I will say that as far as languages go, granted you don't have a huge sampling of passengers right now. With who got on at Ulthar, you do not understand the language of cats, and Henri does. He is able to translate it. So you don't get the impression that you automatically all can speak the same thing or that you can understand everything. Henri speaks in a mixture of French and English, depending on what he's doing. But that is because, again, he has a Belgian lilt. He is Belgian. And if he was making small talk with you, he would kind of tell you when he served on the Orient Express. It was during the reign of King Leopold II, I believe. And but his time on the Orient Express came to a sudden end. But so you are free to sleep. You are free to wake. Or if you do neither, then the train is going to pull in at Dilathleen without further ado, unless there was something that you all wanted to do.
I mean, I think we need to go back to the waking world. I mean, we don't know anything that we could find in Dilathine. It seems like unless we had a lead that pointed us to something there, I say, yeah, let's stay here. But and then if we do find that we need to come here, then according to everything that everybody's told us, we'll come back to the same moment. It's not like we're going to miss out on it.
Yeah, that's exactly true. It's if you choose to wake now, and you choose to come back, then you can come back. It will be moments. No one will know that you're gone. So, would you like to wake up?
Sure.
So as the beast train rolls on through the Dreamlands on its way to Dilathleen, there is the sound of almost like a tinkling of a bell, and a roar of a train whistle that you have not heard in the Dreamlands, and you are with a tug somewhere in your gut. You are suddenly waking up in your beds on the Orient Express. It has been mere like 2-3 hours since you went to bed, depending on who went to bed when. At most 4 hours of sleep, and the train whistle is loud. The staff is at the door calling, or out in the hallway calling that we have arrived in Lausanne, and calling up for anybody who wishes to disembark. And what do you do? Do you get up, or do you stay on the train? Do you want to stay on the train all the way to Milan?
You said we're at Lausanne?
Yes.
Which is Switzerland, right?
Yes, it is Switzerland, and you don't get a choice. You're getting off the train, and you get to
Do you want to stay on the train? Nope.
No. So the Orient Express pulls into Lausanne at 6:45 a.m., and you get kind of bustled off, and your bags are given to you, and you take your personal belongings, including the leaded box with the arm in it, and you can. I'm trying to think. Oh, I should have checked that. It's fine.
Is it though?
Let me check just a second. Fuck.
All of a sudden, okay, you get back on the train. No.
No, you're off the train. Give me an I need intelligence rolls.
Also, I want to be clear that the first thing that Cleo says to Kelsey when she sees him is just real.
Yes, let's not. Countess is already going to rub it in as it is.
What are those intelligence scores?
I gotta get back to a thing.
I got a hard success. Or, no, extreme success.
I got a hard
Me too.
success.
Also an extreme success.
Also, an
You
extreme
all
success.
remember the Dreamlands in vivid detail. Vivid detail. That's all you needed to maintain. If you had not passed that, you would have forgotten everything.
Am I still feeling the effects of that alcohol? Of
No.
the moon wine? Okay.
Nope. And this is something we'll go. I'll go over with you afterward. What happens regarding not with the moon wine, how injuries and things and
Sure.
hindrances and effects cross.
I'll tell you how
across the
you're
board.
crumbling from the inside from that moon wine later.
Now you see why the bearded man and Ulthar's like, stay away from the white.
You are now the moon.
Yeah. So Johanna carrying her cat that she's had the whole time.
Okay.
For sure.
Sir Snuggle Bouncy Boots, right?
Yeah. Walks out and then just
What?
looks at Kelsey until Kelsey catches her eyes and then smiles and looks away.
What I feel like in the last 13 minutes of the show, what does Sir Snuggle Bouncy Boots look like?
Oh, I'm gonna guess that he is a long-haired cat, probably a Norwegian forest cat.
Oh, praise
those are
God!
heavy.
Amanda and I
Maybe
love
a
those
Persian?
boys.
Yeah, that's like a big beefy cat.
It's a big.
No.
That's a big
Norwegian ones are smaller. I have a full-size Maine Coon. Those are huge. This one's the smaller version of that. Yeah, they're like regular size cats ish.
They're cute though. I want one real bad. I real want one.
They get to be pretty big though. I sort of assumed it was like a Persian or a ragdoll.
I'll go with
Minimal
ragdoll.
shedding.
Yeah, ragdoll makes sense. Yeah. I just want a
Hello, cat. I
long-haired,
have
beautiful
seen
cat.
every day.
I mean,
Uh,
the
cat
cats
that always
weigh-
existed.
I mean, you could get a smaller one, but at the smallest, they're like 8 pounds.
Of the Norwegian ones?
Of the Norwegian, yeah.
I guess I'm just so used to half of a dog as a cat that I don't even recognize the cats are supposed to be regular sized anymore. When we got him
Yeah.
at 6 months, we were told he was fully grown, and he seemed big for a cat then.
Yeah, he big boy.
He's a big honker, and he's not screaming in the bathroom right now, so that's a positive.
Hey, that's always a positive turn of events. But yeah, you get bustled off the train. It kind of leaves you in the four of you with your cat in a vague group on the on the platform. You're all very bleary-eyed from the events. Oh my, y'all. Where is that
What?
coming through at? I don't even know. I'm just getting Discord pings. Bing, 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 bing.
Oh, we're posting cat gifts and readers.
Oh, am I missing cat gifts? What the heck?
Oh yes.
I mute the GIF one because it just pings all the whole time and it just drives me nuts. Oh, this is from like early on.
You got to keep scrolling for the cats. Anyway.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah, it was blingy blonging, and it was like I needed Windows Windows updated, and now all my notification settings are borked. But okay, so yeah, you're all bleary after the party the night before. You notice that Signorina Cavallaro does not get off the train, but I'm gonna say that you all declared your intent to disembark at Lausanne. So the staff is like, of course, and please be our guest to get the fuck off our train, and they kick you off.
We're
Like,
good
we
paying
were causing
guests.
problems or something.
You were no, but they said you wanted to go. We will accommodate.
Well, how long
But
is our layover then before the train leaves?
the train's gone, so you're on
Oh.
the thing, and the train leaves like at 7. It's like the Orient Express is several trains in a, so you can get on again
Oh.
later, but it boots you off and then it continues on its way to Milan, because Signorina Cavallaro has a massive performance coming up that you need to be there for in 3 days. So
Well, we're gonna miss him. We're
Yeah,
here
we'll
because they kicked us
miss it
off
that
the
way.
train.
No, you're not. There's another train. Guys,
It's over.
none of you.
We're never gonna see
Guys,
that
we're
show.
We're gonna call it here. We're gonna no. Obviously, none of you are familiar with train travel in Europe. There are plenty of trains. You will get there should you wish to go. But I will say that on the platform, an open cafe nearby does beckon you with the sweet smell of chocolate and morning baking, and you can you make your way there and you settle in for warm milk with chocolate sprinkled on the top, croissants, and coffee if you choose. And there is a selection of newspapers that you can also read while you wake up and come to and
I would like to
You
read a
can-
newspaper,
Yeah. same here.
as it is my morning routine.
and you absolutely do. You have the pick of Swiss newspapers or French newspapers.
Yes.
Or she reads them all. And
Well, we just left France, and it was a little bit sus, everything going on there. We just want to make
Seeing
sure
what-
that there wasn't any weird rosebush accidents since we
Oh.
left.
Go ahead and give me a library use. Ha 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 ha. Because there's no reading skill.
I can't read.
Nope, I can't either.
I'm gonna spend a few points of luck just to make that a regular success.
Okay. You see nothing, especially out of the newspapers out of France. There's nothing untoward. There's no mention of the events at Chez Lorient, and you didn't think there would be, but there was that political unrest that was going on. There were the activists and things like that. There is some news of that. In fact,
It's mostly just to make sure Johanna's name didn't come out anywhere in some sort of unsavory light.
absolutely no, it did not. Johanna
That's what I'm
has
really
not-
skimming for.
Johanna has not been mentioned even once, much to her chagrin. Sorry, I was looking for the newspaper thing to see if there was anything for the 19th. I don't believe there is. Christ almighty. There isn't. And no.
I'm glad.
What you do read about is the conference of Lausanne is actually happening right now. Get your bingo cards ready for random historical facts. The conference of Lausanne is currently being held in Lausanne, and it is attended by representatives from Turkey, Britain, Italy, and France. Its purpose and eventual outcome in history is the Treaty of Lausanne, which will in effect establish the Republic of Turkey and end the Ottoman Empire. So that is currently happening. Those discussions, that whole conference is currently ongoing as of January 19th, 1923. It started back in November, and it's kind of it's a rough road. It's a rough road to diplomacy there. There's a lot of things happening, and that's why it takes some time for
Is
that
that where
treaty
poor
to be
Mac
signed.
is hanging out? Does
No.
poor Mac stuck at the conference of?
No.
Is that why he's
No.
so sad?
I will say, should you ever wish to, I believe you can investigate those people that you do meet on the train in the Dreamlands at any time if you wish to. You can find out more about them, when they existed, things like that. But anyway, so
I can draw me flipping off someone and then mail it to Karakov. That's an option.
Oh, that's far lighter than I thought Johanna was gonna go for, which is like an actual
technically,
hit on him.
technically, yes.
Considering
Technically,
10
yes.
minutes ago it was like, I'm gonna poison him.
Yeah.
Well,
This
murdering
motherfucker
people in
going
the
down.
dreams is not the same as murdering people in real life.
How do you know?
I don't actually. I was contemplating that before I said anything.
We're gonna talk about that after the show. Just to give you guys, and we'll go over this again, but the city of Lausanne is located in the French-speaking area of Switzerland. So most of the people that you will interact with will be speaking French. So Cleo will need.
Good. I still don't understand anything.
Yeah,
It's the same.
We'll help you
it's
succeed.
the same. What is the base for languages? Is it one? Is it 1%?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't have any. Yes,
I
it is
think
1%.
it is 1%.
Well, see, is what you need to do, Cleo, is you need to go, in
Roll
fact, I
that
think I'm going to
beautiful-
make you
those
start doing
dice.
the longer that you are around all these people speaking French, go ahead and give me a language roll. And if you can score your crit success.
I'm just rolling for a 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
With your dice, yeah.
I'm going to make you do it I'm going to make you do it at least once a session now.
It's a 3.
Go ahead and spend 2, make it a 1, and check
Okay.
the box.
Okay.
And then you can start improving that skill at advancements.
French, right?
Yep.
Which, by the way, by the time we get to where you get to raise up your skills, we will be out of the French-speaking area.
That's
On to
probably
Italian.
Yeah.
That's probably not the way that the game wants you to do it, but you know what? I don't fucking care. Because
We make
honestly,
the rules here.
if you hear a language enough,
Yeah.
you
You
know,
pick
and
up
people are
certain things.
translating, you're gonna pick up a little bit. You're not
Well-
gonna be making any great conversation at 1%, but it's something.
Well, also, she's probably picked up books at some point, even if she has them with them. Where
Right.
I have sat and been like, oh, no, that word means this, or
Yeah.
this is what this says.
Right.
And walked her through whatever I could.
Yeah. So we're all good. No, I think that's a fine way to show that you are picking up skills as you go, and you will obviously improve it unless you happen to crit roll on your percentile during next improvement phase, which would be hilarious to me. Just to let you know, this is the French-speaking area of Switzerland. Many of the 70,000 inhabitants also speak German. For reasons of beauty, climate, and hospitality, Lausanne has drawn foreign settlers for more than a century. Currently, more than 1 in 7 residents are not Swiss. The town is built upon hills that descend to the shore of Lake Geneva or Lac Léman, making the majority of the streets fairly steep. Horse-drawn cabs can be hailed from the station, and a tram line runs through the city. And every hour between 8 p.m. and 2 a.m. each night, a lone voice calls out from the cathedral
No.
to announce the time.
Oh. A
Yeah,
lone
the
voice calls
comedian
out
calls
from the
it.
cathedral.
No.
To announce the time.
No,
I was
it's
going
it's,
Hunchback of Notre Dame. is
It's
where I was
11.
going.
It's 11 o'clock and all is well. No, yeah, that's what you get. But it just, yeah, no, someone just sings. But yeah,
I hope
so
it's a Gilbert Godfrey voice. It's like, it's 1 a.m.
that would be great.
Oh god.
As everybody in town freaks out. No, so we're gonna wrap it here, but with the 4 of you either reading newspapers and eating breakfast with your warm chocolate milk.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I do want to say that generally, before we wrap up, Cleo will now will check the newspaper to look at news and stuff like that, but usually what she's looking for is like a newspaper that is kind of out there, like maybe salacious, but not in a gossip way, but in a way that it's like
Okay.
the weird stuff that
the
gets
Weekly
looking-
World News.
The
Yeah.
scoop.
The scoop.
the scoop.
The
What
scoop.
did we say the scoop was in France? Was it
That's
Les
right,
Scoop?
the scoop.
Was
Yeah,
that
the
what it
scoop.
was?
The scoop.
Les Scoop. Yeah, we'll look for the Swiss version of that. We'll,
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I hope that some of this made sense tonight, you all, and I had a fun time giggling at Dreamland's ridiculousness and spending 3 hours with my friendliest of friends. And thank you so much for joining us on the Illuminated page. Come back next week. I believe we're on for next week. This season is going to be a little bit. We're going to have some breaks in between because there's a lot going on this fall, y'all. So we won't be as regular as we were earlier in the year, but we will be here and we will be telling stories as often as possible, and we will keep you abreast of all things. In fact, if you're on our Discord and you saw the invitation to be a part of the Illuminated Society in the Illuminated page readers, if you click that little submit button there, it will tag you with the role. And anytime that we have a pertinent announcement regarding the show, I will tag that role. and you will be able to get any of the announcements that you wish if you care to know specifically what's going on with this show. That was the easiest way instead of me going through chat and going, well, they hung out for an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and give them the role. No, if you want it, get it. If not, don't worry about it. But I wanted to make that so it was easier to announce any kind of hiatuses that we might have to take or time changes, things like that. So we love you. Thank you for being here. We will be back next week. And hang out in the Discord. I don't have all my buttons going, but we have Discord, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Come find us. We're out there. We love y'all. Come back tomorrow night for Star Trek.
Yeah.
We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.